Hey folks, we are back with another episode of the Tales of the Ivory Tower, or Tower of Ivory, or whatever you want to call it, because my brain is not working.
It's good. They're back for more gaming.
Is it ever working?
That's a really good question word, to which I do not have an answer. I mean, I guess you could go. I guess you could sort of go with Descartes. I think, therefore I am. But that's Oh, there's a lot of stuff involved in that I don't want to dive into because I didn't study philosophy in college.
I absorbed exactly enough philosophy to sound like an idiot to an actual philosopher.
Yes,
and smart to like a layman. So,
and that's how you get into politics.
So what you're telling me is that
skill set.
So what you're telling me is that when it comes to saying "I think, therefore I am," you throw on a Popeye accent.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, first you have to.
I am what I am.
But yeah, God. Yeah, I know exactly enough philosophy and psychology to get myself into trouble. Really.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's my entire skill set.
You went to art school, Eric.
I did.
I studied economics. And I know
philosophy with numbers.
You're not entirely wrong. It uses scientific methodology, but it's not actually a hard science, despite what a lot of economists will tell you.
It's kind of weird because I feel like a lot of people feel that way about their major. Like when I was going to school for accounting, I kept on doing this. Like, I mean, it's not hard. I feel like people could just do this if they just learned, but they don't want to. So,
well, it's math. Accounting is math.
Yeah, that's why people don't like it. So.
Yeah, I've studied accounting. I had to study some of it for my economics degree and some of it for my business degree.
Yep.
So yeah, I know accounting. I didn't enjoy accounting. I was actually very good at it. Just I hated the classes. Yeah, things you have to know for economics that are annoying. The basics of accounting is actually useful is something you actually learn for economics in general. You have to learn statistics, which I do know and I'm actually quite good at, and statistics classes suck.
Oh yeah, I learned that.
It's weird. Statistics classes are weird because it's math, but it doesn't feel like math.
No, but here's the thing: statistics is math that is actively useful. Actually, it turns out virtually all math is actively useful. You just don't know where it's going to be useful until it shows up and smacks you in the face. You go, "Oh, that's what it's for."
And that is what our next session is going to be about. See, we have moved to a new location, so we have to figure out the budget involved.
Yes.
I mean, I know I have played with groups that would really enjoy doing that. I don't enjoy running that.
Ivory Tower is going to be to mathematics what Dr. Stone was for science.
Oh God, no.
That'd be so much more work required for Peter.
No, I don't know, Gav. I don't want
to playing with you guys. I'm gonna go.
Well, we found our villain.
This is officially turned into Skull Facebook Killer Honda San. I am sorry.
But in all seriousness, last time, which was 2 weeks ago, because
Reasons.
The universe and everything.
The universe is on fire, and I was having a really shitty week last week, so I just was not up and running. I'll be blunt. I was in a terrible mind space that I could not GM last week. I'm doing much better this week. Hooray! I'm merely tired. All right. So last time, you guys came back from dealing with the bandits. You dealt with the village. You've improved your supply lines. See, we're already dealing with economics.
And politics. We got we signed a non-aggression pact at the neighboring country.
Right.
We pretty much just agreed to cede all the surrounding land to us because we're awesome. And that's going to have no repercussions in the future at all.
None. Oh no, Eric, none whatsoever.
No,
Because
I mean, we've still got potential repercussions from the second session to worry about. So
what? No, that's not going to be coming back anytime soon.
no, because we went somewhere else. But
that is actually a big help for you guys. Oh. But at the very end of the session, you got a messenger from Menuria, I believe, if I'm remembering the name correctly. And where did I put my notepad? Fuck.
I'm looking at my character sheet because my melodramatic hook involves Menuria. Yes, that is the correct name.
I'm good. Sometimes I'm good. Often I'm not. That's the sheet I want for that. I just need to get a couple of web pages, a couple of my Google Docs ups that I've got things to refer that I need to refer to.
Menuria. I might have misspelled it.
Mew.
Menuria.
Menuria.
The terrible
Menuria?
Giant jerk face.
Oh, Menuria.
Phenomena.
Menuria. I get it now.
Yeah.
Looking at my notes now.
You guys keep notes?
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of, actually.
I mean, I take notes, but that's because I'm the goddamn GM, so, you know.
Right.
I don't take notes, especially if I'm the GM.
Well, given my style of GMing, if I don't take notes, I get in real fucking trouble.
Oh, trust me, I know. I didn't say I was good at it.
Fair.
I improv well. I keep track of shit poor.
Yeah. So, before we go further, I want to mention one quick thing. Remember last session I could not find my goddamn find where I took down the notes from the previous session with, like, the NPC names and such?
Were you sitting on it?
No, it was my other notepad.
Of course.
But I have two.
Of course.
Because shut up.
Why do you have two notepads, like, ever in your life? Is that what you mean? Like,
I mean, like, at the same time. Why do you need two pads concurrently?
So here's the
Is
thing.
there-
sometimes you buy multiple notepads at once.
Is there an advantage to dual wielding tablets? I must know.
All right, so here's the short answer. I have. Hang on, let me get this on camera for the viewers. All right, so I have at on my desk at all times. I have a little notepad that I take notes on from various games that I'm dealing with, video games, what have you, or if I need them. It is about this size. It is a smallish notepad, about like 4 inches by 6 inches or so. Maybe I'm off on the dimensions. Like, yeah, it's about 6 inches long and about. That's actually more. It's more like 4 by 8 really. That is my sort of desk side notepad that I use, and I use that a bunch for game. In addition to that, I have a notebook, which I use for other stuff.
Beating unruly players.
Can't really do that virtually.
Thankfully.
Who would have the high score of beatings, Eric or myself? I wonder.
Eric.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At any rate,
As Eric puts on his angel halo.
but yeah, it's a normal 8.5 by 11 notebook, with lined rule paper. I use that for when I need to take notes for larger combats, like the one against the bandits. The thing was, I forgot I had done that, and I moved it away from my desk because I was using it for something else. So when I was looking for my notes, that notebook wasn't on my desk, so I just assumed that I didn't use it because I'm an idiot. Simple enough. But now, yes, Menuria's messenger showed up and delivered a message that's saying, A, he was aware that Caedrix was now in his territory, but that he would talk with Caedrix about that later. But more importantly, he was sending Caedrix an invitation to his palace because there was going to be a meeting of the Dreadlords, which hasn't happened in some time.
Okay.
which for the Dreadlords means boring bullshit, but for the minions means it's the biggest party ever. No.
Boss is out. Throw a party.
So that is where we left off. With the totally normal Raven that showed up to deliver the message flying off.
Yeah. I don't know.
Actually, it wasn't a Raven. It was some sort of bird of prey, if I remember correctly. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it was like some sort of weird balcony thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so giggling at the idea of having the idea for this session possibly be just throwing a massive kegger while Caedrix is at the meeting and trying to have to clean up the tire before he gets home.
What, you think he's going alone?
I know.
He's not going alone.
That'll be quite a monkey wrench to throw into this session plan, but
No. If you guys absolutely refuse to go, he'll take NPCs with him.
That won't be a problem.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I mean, I hate
and the
to say
session
it, but
kidnapped.
And
as much as I am in favor of like, let's throw a rager and be silly, let's be honest. There's no way Mage is letting the boss go into the into the belly of the beast by himself.
Yeah, that's kinda how-
Caedrix will be totally fine there.
Yeah, nothing could possibly go wrong.
He's totally equal in terms of raw power with all the other Death Lords. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And there aren't members of the Death Lords who absolutely hate his guts. Well, I mean, to be fair, most of those that absolutely hate his guts hate everybody's guts because, you know.
Yeah. Well, one's a beholder. It kind of goes without saying.
One's a beholder. One is an ancient lich that, you know. One is an ancient lich.
Damn it, Caedrix! How dare you step on my toes? I'm supposed to be the ancient undead spellcaster around here. How dare you?
Pretty much.
And then they show up in the same robes.
Well, one of us is going to have to go home and change.
It's a dispute over branding.
So
Your
yeah.
gimmick's close to my gimmick. That's gimmick infringement, brother.
Oh, there are three members of the Dreadlords whom are kind of treading on each other's toes to some degree in terms of gimmick. There's the Archlich Jancis Aldor. There is the Necromancer Zurich Keterane, and there is Caedrix. So there's a living Necromancer, an Archlich, and Caedrix, who's not actually a Necromancer, but is an undead spellcaster.
It's very confusing when it comes to the merch.
So yeah, so yes, yeah. So that's where we left off. Caedrix goes heads back to the after investigating heads back to the tower, and things become a bustle when he basically lets things go kind of everybody's sort of scattering around doing stuff because he tells Rokesh what's going on. Rokesh is like, oh, for fuck's sake, we have to. All right, well, we have to arrange an honor guard and all this other stuff, figure out how we're going to get you there, and thank God we now have maps so we actually know how to get there.
Question: Does all this did Caedrix ever get up to the top of the hill to actually do that investigation?
He did.
Okay.
That happened after he did his little investigation.
All right. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, he went up the hill. He studied the remnants of the teleportation spell and was like, "God damn, that was an awesome teleportation spell." I now have some information on it. I will see if I can figure out how that worked. Because, dear Lord, having a teleportation spell that is not loud and dramatic could actually be very useful.
But it's not loud and dramatic. How is that fun?
That is a different question, Eric. So yes, Rokesh is sort of okay, right? So I've got to arrange an honor guard. All right, right. Well, Mange, guess what?
I am on honor guard. It is making sense.
Yeah, why don't you pick pick someone else that pick another good sort of bodyguard type to come with you. Good squad. I can't go because I have to stay here. Someone's got to run the tower while the boss is away. We need someone to be a diplomatic aide, though. Steno.
Sorry, something came up and distracted me.
That's fine. So Steno, Rokishar comes up to you and says, "I think you'd be ideal for the diplomatic aid to the bosses for the role of diplomatic aid on this journey. Would you be up to that?"
Of course.
Excellent.
Bane starts giggling. Diesel, you are also being bodyguard. It's two of us.
Okay.
All right.
Diesel guard bodies.
Diesel got Caedrix's body.
Caedrix dead?
No, Caedrix. What? You are keeping Caedrix safe while in bad place.
Oh, make more sense.
Yes.
He is not flexing other Dreadlords at all to be bringing former minions of them. Is good.
He.
All right. Ignatius, why don't you these sorts of meetings tend to sort of fall into, in addition to being diplomatic, there's almost certainly to be some sort of economics type stuff coming up, trade routes and shit. You should go as economic advisor. I think you'd actually be ideal for that.
You got it, boss. Besides, there's probably going to be other guild members there feeding up.
Yeah, sure, great. Given the number of undead who work for other Dreadlords, yes.
Gotta listen up, get some juicy gossip while I got the chance.
Fair enough. And Zoget, I think we'll send you along. Having someone with a good technical mind along would actually be very useful, I think.
Okay.
And Rocky will go along. Rocky will be there in the background, being a magical conduit that we can actually contact easily, because he is literally walking magic in a lot of ways. So it'll make it much easier to actually do magical communications with you guys if he's there. Unfortunately, Rocky's player Skitch is not here this week, so. But it means that if the session goes if the period over at Menuria's palace lasts more than one session, Skitch will be there, and we don't have to sort of say, and Rocky was there the whole time.
Like Mini Moose.
I wasn't gonna say it.
It wouldn't be a feng shui session without somebody appearing magically out of the background somehow.
I've been here the whole time.
There is an archetype in feng shui that is specifically for that. It's called the Drifter.
I remember, yes. He just sort of appears out of nowhere. I was here the whole time.
Bob was there too.
At any rate, so the tower goes into something of a bustle of actually getting ready for the boss to actually travel a bit of a distance. So this is a chance for you guys to decide what you want to exactly, what plans you want to make with each other before heading out. They are assembling, Caedrix is busy. Caedrix himself is taking the time to
read up on the other Dreadlords?
Yes, that's part of what he's doing. Yeah, but he's also spending some time with the other mages of the tower to enchant a transport to make getting there a little bit faster.
I'm gonna suggest an emergency get the fuck out teleport also, for when things inevitably turn to shit.
Okay. Yeah. So Caedrix will definitely. Yes, he will try working on something like that. Yes, actually, Caedrix actually looks at you, and then he sort of goes, Zagat.
Eh,
I believe there is a teleportation device of some sort that is mostly man portable. That is, I believe, is man portable in one of the treasure vaults. Could you go find it?
yeah, I think I remember that.
Excellent. Okay, great. Let me think. What else I need? Right, I need to go do some research on the other Dreadlords, just so I'm up to speed. Oh, Cynthia, I need all the texts on the Dreadlords. He says as he sort of
But putting away the other giant pile of text sheets pulled out just an hour ago.
A librarian's job is never done.
So sad. They finally got it organized, and 5 minutes later, everything's everywhere again.
Well, yes. Welcome to the world of being a librarian.
I'm also going to make sure that whoever's in charge of putting together the garrison for the village, who I've decided just now is... I was going to put Hobgoblin in charge, but then I just remember there's a whole, like, empire over there that's at war with the locals. So...
That is run by hobgoblins?
Yeah. So can't have... politically ungood there. So I'll put an ogre in charge.
Okay.
And make sure that, like, none of the former bandits are there, and only people that, like, are, like, relatively well disciplined. Like, I don't want any, like, hear anything about, like, people fucking around the villagers.
Right. For a number of different reasons.
For a number of different reasons.
Excellent. All right. Cool. So
someone competent and smart, smart, and relatively well disciplined, which usually means hobgoblin. But political issues keep that from being a thing. Me just cursing political issues.
The hobgoblin's the hobgoblin you normally depict totally grokks. It's like, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's something you are perfect for, but this stupid war getting in the way is sending bad message.
Yeah, well, that's why you can blame an Iron King Haldrick, honestly.
He's douchebag. I'm understanding. You were telling me how he is douchebag. I am agreeing.
You take over one nation and it goes to your head. You go out and start conquering more nations. And all of a sudden, you're no longer a kingdom. You're an empire. And the title Iron King is not good enough for you.
Power is corrupting. Is for stupids.
But if you want to send one of the ogres, Gotreg should be good.
Good choice. Yes, I am sending Gotreg. You, in meantime, I'm putting you second in command while I'm gone. So you are reporting to whoever my normal lieutenant for these sorts of things are.
Sure.
I'm giving him a promotion as a. I'm sorry, politics is fucking up your career path.
Wow, if only that worked in real life.
All right. Gotreg reports to you. He is, he is your in many ways your archetypal ogre, except that he's brighter than most. I mean, ogres ogres have a rep for being dumb. It's not so much that they're dumb; they're just not very articulate. Gotreg is actually fairly well spoken especially for an ogre, and is quicker on the uptake than a lot of. He's fairly quick on the uptake, just period.
I'm suddenly thinking of Mongo from Blazing Saddles. Mongo is understanding. Mongo is but pawn in game of life.
So Gotrek Grox, and he, puts together he starts assembling an appropriate sort of squad to guard the to help protect the village. He's very careful not to pick. He talks to the bugbears about like, yeah, normally you guys would be great for this, but, and we get it. Honestly, they actually might be better served working at the fort.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking about the fort, but the fort's not ready yet, so I'm not going to sweat
it. Once it's ready, yes, exactly. All right.
Bigger issue is keeping the boss safe while in the hold of my archenemy, who does not acknowledge me as their archenemy, which is fine. That just makes it easier to cut off their head.
All right. So Gav, you're down in the treasury for the moment. I'll get to that in a second because I've got something for that. All right. So word Ash, Nick. Any of you three doing anything you need to? Anything you three want to do before heading out to Menuria's palace?
I am a little curious about how the rogue who has been my guest has been getting along.
All right.
As I mentioned, the thing that Mecha was not
Oh
anticipating.
no! I've had something prepped for what if you asked about her at some point.
I was actually thinking about bringing it up, I think, in the last session, but I was like, it is not my place to bring that point up. So,
all right. Well, you find her in one of the libraries where she is, being quietly watched by one of the goblins, the goblin guards.
All right. Yeah. Steno will slither over and just kind of check in. Hello there.
Greetings.
I do hope things have been suitably accommodating. I presume you're less than thrilled about the relocation of the tower.
Given that I'm effectively a prisoner here, it doesn't really matter. Eventually, you are all either going to have me executed or let me go. I'm waiting for one of those two things to happen.
So you have no inclination of potentially learning to live amongst us, then?
Why?
Why not?
Because we're too awesome for her.
I have seen no particular reason why I would want to why I would be welcome here, let alone would want to be here. I've been given no particular reason other than you have deigned to not have me executed, which I do appreciate. I do like not being dead. But I see no particular benefit to me, or again, I have seen no particular, like, it's not even just a lack of benefit, it's I see there is no reason why I would think I would be welcomed here, let alone, like, I see no reason why that is even actually technically an option. So, honestly, I'm sort of baffled by the fact I'm neither in the cells. Why bother? I'm a glorified prisoner, anyways. I could probably try to find a way to escape, but that maniac hyena would have me killed. Probably have me killed before I could get away. So, yeah.
Well, you bring up valid points. I, of course, have disagreement regarding Captain Mange, though his disposition towards myself is undoubtedly different, so I will not deny you your perspective. Does the thought of employment at least seem feasible?
Honestly, no. Again, the captain of your guard has made it very expressly clear that he has no actual no incentive to trust me, nor does he. He has no trust for me, and has made it very clear that he would rather see me dead. So I don't think I can work here. The majority of the people of this tower are surprised I'm alive, and it's very clear I am living on borrowed time. So yeah, no.
Very well. If you are going to follow given conditions of leaving some of the locals in the area that we have found ourselves in alone, I will see to your release.
Okay. I'll probably just head back to where I'm originally from if I can figure out how to get there. Where are we, by the way?
We find ourselves on, I think we're on another continent at this point, isn't it?
Technically the same continent, but
The other side of the continent.
yeah.
We find ourselves on the other side of the continent.
Ah,
We're near two very different, distant nations within the territory of Dreadlord.
Menuria.
I can't Menuria. I can never keep that name in my head.
Ah. Well, that's a little bit of a trek home, but it's achievable.
Indeed, it is.
It's something to do. Well, I appreciate that sentiment. If it's possible, I am more than happy to leave everybody in this area alone if I can just get home.
I am fine with this arrangement. I do find myself a bit sad that we could not come to a better understanding, but our circumstances are our circumstances. You wish to leave? I will, and there is no threat of you remaining here or anyone in the local area. So I see no reason at this point to hold you beyond your will. I shall see to it that it is arranged.
Thank you.
You are quite welcome. If you should desire to return at some point and speak, I will be willing to listen, but I will not force the point. And to that, she will slither away and just kind of leave her to her own devices at this point.
All right, is that the end of that scene?
Yeah.
Right.
Anything
Ignatius.
Okay.
No, Ignatius definitely has to go meet with the rest of the members of Bone before he goes off to go do this thing. So as he goes through the guild mandated break room where there's skeletons smoking, drinking, just all the improbable stuff you think skeletons shouldn't be able to do.
Well, yes.
And he goes and he approaches who would be the next senior member of the guild, who is a
I have this image of this like skeleton wearing like sitting in a boudoir in like some like a lacy gown with a cigarette holder that's lit, but they can't actually smoke it, so it just sits between their fingers or their teeth intermittently.
Pretty much, yeah. Anyways, in the bone break room, the bone break room.
Oh.
The broken bone break room.
Yeah. He talks to his next the next senior member of the guild, which would be one of the gate guards who goes by Malone,
All right.
and he lets Malone
Bones
know.
Bone Malone.
Bones Malone.
Fucking Bones Malone.
Well, he probably leads up the jazz quartet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He better be wearing a fedora.
No. That's the wrong sort of hat, Eric. He plays jazz. Come on.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It would be a pork pie.
At best. Is that one of those sort of oh God, I can't remember the name of the hat.
Trilby?
No. It's they don't have like they're not. It's sort of a peak cap, I think is what it's called, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. I know. What you
Yeah. Okay.
So he talks to Malone. And he's like, "Okay, I need to go and head up this trade deal. In case anything happens, you're in charge until I get back, or if I, he kind of makes like being hung kind of thing.
Cool, Daddy-O.
Righteous.
You named them
Cheese
both
My
Malone.
cheese whiz, boy.
Yeah, like righteous. Yeah.
All right, Daddy-O.
He definitely plays trombone in his spare time.
Absolutely. Either that or trumpet. I'm not sure which.
Ain't got no lips.
Oh.
To be fair, it's blues. That's like the title of his first album. Ain't got no lungs. By Bones Malone.
Oh man.
Well, Ash, you've gone and done it. Well
It
done.
was experimental prog jazz where he doesn't actually play anything. You could just hear him scuffling around and tapping on the trumpet every now and again.
I just have this image of like a series of like bellows that he just sort of pumps while he's playing.
I'm just over here remembering like the skeleton bagpipes from Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Yes.
He's just there squeezing a huge bag of air with his legs while a tube runs up through his body into his mouth.
Oh, Army of Darkness. All right. Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on things here and make sure things stay copacetic.
I dig it. Make sure you look out
Aye.
for the fresh guys. And make sure you send some guys over to the fort. We got a bunch of brethren there. They ain't on board yet, but I've got a good feeling about them.
I'll send our best rep over with the newest literature. It'll be cool, man. Cool.
What the fuck is this dialogue?
Drums, 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 drums.
Nick got it. Well done.
Yes.
Animal was so fitting in this scene.
Animal. There is a bugbear in the jazz band that acts exactly like an animal.
Yeah, there you
He's the
go.
drummer.
And the fucking Bone Break Room. That is such a jazz club name.
It is.
It really is.
Oh my god.
The tower has a jazz room. It's official.
And
All right.
and Malone definitely is a keyboardist now. That's all there is to it.
He plays the bones.
Malone's
Plays the Ivory, yeah.
he plays good. He somehow has a mustache still, even though he's dead.
I mean, that's not hard. You can get a fake mustache. I mean,
Mustache.
It's
Yeah,
literally
sure.
just a cardboard cutout, like scotch taped to his top mandible.
no, it's glue. You got to. Scotch tape's not a thing. Don't be ridiculous, Eric. Scotch tape is the thing. Jazzers, that makes total sense.
Yeah, Scotland doesn't exist in this world.
See?
All right, and with that, he gives them the secret skeleton handshake.
All
And
right.
they that all members of Bone know to identify each other in case they are in trouble. And he heads out to meet up with the others.
All right. Gav.
Yes.
So you get down to the treasuries, where You are met by all right. So the person in charge of the treasuries is hang on. Where's my? Do I have a? I've got a list of sort of NPC concepts, and I got to figure out which one I want to use.
Fair enough.
So I hadn't decided on this until just now. All right, there we go. I'm into the section of the notepad where this stuff is. All right.
Well, I think I've provided suitable musical accompaniment for this.
So you arrive, and you are met there by Dexar, who is the ghoul in charge of the treasury. He looks down as you arrive.
Who goes there?
If it isn't Master Zolgit. I assume...
How's it going, Dex?
It was going quite well. How may I be of service to you, Master Zolgit?
The boss sent me downstairs to, apparently he's got a teleporter in here.
Right, so, a teleporter of some sort. Yes, I do recall that. I believe it is in Vault 3.
I remember it myself. I kind of wanted it when it came in, but the boss said no.
Understandable. Let's see. Yes, Vault. According to my records, it is in Vault 3. He reaches down under the pedestal, pulls out a key. Hands you the key. You may go into Vault 3 and retrieve the teleportation device.
Thank you very much.
Come back, sign it out, and and please don't carry anything else out that you've not been asked to bring out. I would appreciate that.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Indeed.
You gotta calm down, Dex. Sometimes you just gotta know when someone's messing with you. If you bite, they're gonna do it more. Come on, mate. I'm only messing with you.
Indeed.
And do try to return this one in one piece, Double Zolgit.
What? No!
Well, I might be able to bring back one piece.
All right, so...
Oh, wow.
So you head into the vault. You head into Vault 3. The key in question... He hands you a large, sort of golden key. It's not actually made of gold, but, it's got that sort of color.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very intricate key for a quite intricate lock. The large vault door opens, and it is... You will give Dexar this. He keeps the treasure vault very well organized.
Oh, that's a pain. It's harder to steal things.
What? No! That would not ever all be why he would do that. It's totally not because he's, it's totally because he's, he's sort of, he's just very, 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 detail oriented and wants to keep everything in its place, the proper place, in the proper time. It is totally not a preventative measure to keep people from nicking stuff, or to make sure that he knows when something's been nicked. That would be
Though we
wrong.
employ a lot of goblins and kobolds.
What? And hobgoblins.
And bugbears.
And various, people of former sort of, banditry backgrounds. Kleptomaniacs.
At least 2 master thieves.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, luckily enough, I'm not looking for anything in particular anyway, so, I'm not in a thieving mood. Okay, well, I'm going to have a look around and see if I can find this this teleporter.
All right. Well, you walk around a bit. As you are walking around in the vault a bit, and you are sort of, you do, you were able to sort of like realize as you're walking around. It's not only is things that like very organized in terms of everything's clearly got its own place. You can sort of realize that this section is set up entirely for magical devices. This is for This is for sort of Magitech and some just plain old steam powered stuff.
This is the one vault the boss doesn't want me in. Yeah, he sent me down here.
Actually, the boss doesn't really care.
Oh, fair enough.
It's the one vault that Dexar doesn't want you in. That wouldn't occur to This would not occur to Caedrix. But as you were walking by, Gav, give me a notice check.
That was just base, isn't it?
Unless you've got an appropriate skill.
Fix it, sabotage, deceit, and intrusion.
Actually, give me an intrusion roll.
Ooh.
$13. All right. So, as you're walking along, and you see out of the corner of your eye somebody else in the vault. And you recognize them. It's one of the it is a what is it? It is a it is actually one of the aforementioned sort of quote master thieves. She is an orc.
Well, I'm instantly unflipping the gun on my and flipping the arm round to point the flintlock.
Oi, hey,
excuse me, love. You're supposed to be here.
Shh. Of course not.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, don't shush me. I'm not letting you get away with this.
I'm just moving things between shelves to screw with Dexar.
Oh, well, that's different then.
Oh, it's pranks it is then.
Well, I know, because he knows I'm in here. I'm going to get blamed for this.
Oh, hell. I wanted to do it so that he knew that no one was in here. Shit. I'm going to have to do it in Vault 1. God damn it. She starts carrying one of the things off one of the shelves back the other direction.
Hang on a second. I'm going to use my own deceit roll to make sure she's not trying to trick me.
Fair enough. Oh no, she's telling you the truth.
Yeah, she better be.
As far as you can tell, she's telling the truth.
By my own admission, I'm a bit of a git. But I'm still one of Caedrix's captains, so you're gonna do your told, right?
Yeah. As I said, it's not funny if he knows that someone's been in here. Also, it would be a good way to practice my skills at busting into 2 vaults in one day. I like that.
Make a mental note that if anything gets reported missing from the vault, I know who to go to first.
The hell you say?
All right, you eventually find the teleporter, which is it's in the Magitech section.
Okay.
In that it runs primarily from it. It's a combination of sort of steam tech and to basically generate the electricity that basically primes the magical. Basically it generates electricity to power the magic that causes the teleportation effect.
Okay, so electric, basically a spark plug that starts the magic. Okay.
Basically, yeah. It's got it's both got a small steam engine and a gigantic another option for generating the power, in which you put a big crank into one side and just turn it very quickly.
I thought you said this was portable.
I mean, it is. Depends on who's carrying it. You can carry it.
Yeah.
Portable is a very relative term.
I mean, you kind of lose the element of surprise when people know it's there. Though it's like this huge backpack that says teleporter on the side of it.
Well, it's
All you got to do is cross that out and put not teleporter on it.
that'll fool him.
I'm reminded of the portable time savers from Thief of Time.
Well, if this is what the boss wants, I suppose this is what I have to take. Maybe I can miniaturize it a little bit. Mange is definitely carrying it. Oh dear. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll just take it off the shelf and head
It's
back, I
heavy.
suppose. Yeah.
On your way back out, you notice that there are 4 things that are in different positions than they were when you came in, and they look like they make more sense where they are. You see no sign of the orc anymore.
Okay. So she's putting them back.
Yes.
Good. Oh dear.
And she said, "It's not funny if he knows someone's been in here." As opposed to, of course someone's been here, they move stuff around, but,
Well, like I say, I'm just keeping a mental note of that particular orc.
Well, yeah. Honestly, she's probably one of the 3 people you'd go to first for. Something's been stolen from one of the vaults. She's probably one of the people you'd ask first.
Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that at the very least I've relocked the door behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And
That clearly will keep her out.
Oh yeah, clearly, but at least I made the effort. It's not about what she does. It's about making sure I don't get blamed for it.
Exactly. All right, you come lumbering out with the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dexar sort of goes, Master Zoget, welcome back. That is the device you were sent for. Okay, that is... Yes! Object 84 is 32 stroke B. All right.
This is what the boss calls portable.
Well, for a teleportation device, I do believe that is technically much smaller than most of them.
Only because it's not filling up a bloody room.
Yes. All right, fill out this form, and sign these 3. Thank you.
Scribble, 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 scribble.
All right. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Stamps them. Here's your copy. And, yes, I expect to see that device returned intact at... Well, since you are taking this for the boss on, I believe, from what I understand, a lengthy journey, I don't expect to see it soon.
This ain't the library. You'll get it back when it comes back.
Fair. That, understandable. And if it...
Actually, you'll get it back if it comes back, knowing all that.
You see Dexar wince. Well, if it is unfortunate to not make it back, you will. I will have to make sure I have the proper the proper paperwork for you to fill out on the device lost on the tour of duty.
Mm.
Well, just, good luck on your journey, and hopefully everything goes well.
Thanks, Dex. Catch you later.
Indeed. Also, would you tell our thief friend who's in the vault to not bother with Vault 1? I've changed the locks again.
Tell it yourself, mate. I don't know.
Dakra, I've changed locks in Vault 1. There's no point in... Oh, dear.
And as Zoggy gets out of earshot, he's like, yeah, you're not getting this back, Dex. This is going straight in my workshop when we come home.
Oh no, we lost it.
All right. Nick, is there anything that you want to do?
Diesel is going to go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to go to the first shelf.
Okay.
Whatever he decides is the first shelf is the first shelf. And
Fair enough.
He is going to the near end of it to the top shelf of it.
Okay.
He's going to take the first 2 books off that shelf.
Okay.
He's going to check them out.
All right. You take the 2 books up to the library desk. The librarian, who is a older hobgoblin who's a bit short and hunched over, looks up and, Diesel, thank you for it's good to see you here in the library. Books to check out. Excellent. Can I have your card?
Diesel knows where it is, but he's going one of those things where it's like, this is a weird thing for him to do. So, kind of clumsily reaching around, and he kind of like holds it out in like a clenched fist.
She leans forward to adjust her glasses. Yes, all right. That was your number, indeed. She takes the books, those little things that puts the cards in the back, chunk, writes down your card number on forms that on the desk, and hands them to you. Here you are. Enjoy the books, dearie.
Thank you. And he's going to take the books and his card, and he is going to walk out. And he'll find out later whether exactly he took out of the library.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, is this all done alphabetically, or is this doing
It
decimal?
is in the order that the library system employs.
I was gonna say, Library of Congress.
I don't know. I will let Nick decide what books he took out, because I think it's funnier if Nick comes up with them.
Yeah. Those books could be anything.
All right. Mostly because I trust Nick to come up with something funny for them later. Or interesting, at least. It wasn't
really important to me what exactly he was getting.
Right. It was mostly that he was checking out books. I totally get it. I honestly don't. I don't have anything off the top of my head, so. At any rate, all right. Then, unless there's anything else anybody wants to do.
I think that's good.
That'd be about the everything on my end.
All right.
Here.
I'm also going to want to put together a properly impressive looking honor guard for Caedrix.
Oh yeah, no problem. That's easy.
Dewey Decimal System, Class 000, Computer Science. Well,
that's not quite right for this. But yes, you are able to arrange a fairly, competent-looking honor guard. Not that hard. There are plenty of competent, guard types here who look big and intimidating.
Right. I also want to make sure that that the honor guard is drawing from as many different former minions of other Dreadlords as possible.
Okay. Also, not hard.
Because Mange isn't, like, totally going out of his way to slightly roundabout insult all the other Dreadlords at all. No, not at all. That would be wrong and not a thing he would do.
We're gonna show up and like the Kill Bill sirens would be going off immediately because everybody just looks around the room and notices somebody they hate.
Amusingly, there is exactly one Dreadlord who you don't have people who work for them. That worked for them before.
The Knoll guy?
No, Wings of Eagles.
Oh, the Tabaxi, right.
Yes, the Tabaxi Were-Tiger. Her tribe seems to actually be pretty loyal to her.
All right. I'll have to make a point of recruiting someone just to complete the set.
All right. So, in that case, Steno, you do arrange for the release of the thief. That's not actually hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. She promises to get the hell out of Dodge. Fine, whatever. And yeah, it's pretty clear she has zero desire to stay in the area. Like, I'm in Menuria's territory. Yeah, I'm leaving. So yes, there's a human kingdom here. I don't care. I'm leaving. I want all of this behind me. This was a stupid job that didn't pay well enough.
Mange is going to want to report on just how much she knows about the place before she goes. Like, are there any secrets she's going to be able to sell to people?
According to the goblin, not really. She's basically walked around the hallways. Basically, she's not gone anywhere sensitive because she's not. It was very clear she's not a goddamn idiot.
Okay, cool. Then fine, get rid of her. That's perfect. I'm sick of having to assign perfectly good spies to her when they could be doing more important things.
Yeah. The one thing that was that sort of throws you a little bit off guard is the goblin who is currently watching her was basically make sure you know. Yeah, everyone who's been tailing her, we're really good at making sure we're not seen. She was pretty aware of that. She made it clear to us, every one of us, at one point or another, that she knew we were there and basically didn't try to shake us off. She just made sure to let us know that, yeah, I know you're there. Although, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty clear that she could have done more if she wanted to, but she is also very clear that she was aware that odds are, even if she, she's hard to catch and all that stuff, she was pretty clear that, yeah, her odds of getting out on her, doing anything other than possibly escaping were basically non-existent.
Okay, cool.
She had not yet, by this point, she had not yet found a way to escape safely.
Okay, cool. Then yes, let her go. I am fine with that. As long as she ain't like trading secrets to potential enemies, like said human empire or kingdom or whatever.
No, it's pretty clear she wants the hell out. It is very clear she wants the hell out of here.
All right.
Tell us everything you know about this Caedrix. Well, it was the weirdest fucking place I've ever been.
All right. So the travel party sort of forms up. Caedrix has enchanted a very large. Basically, it looks a lot like a river barge. Except it's sort of honestly, think sort of a somewhat smaller version of Jabba's sail barge, but made out of bone and wood.
Dead men's nails?
No.
No.
It's not ominous at all.
Well, he is undead.
And we are going to a party hosted by Dreadlords. So, ominous is kind of like black tie here.
Yeah, kind of. It is, the things you note, it floats. It sort of hovers off the ground currently hovering off the ground about 2.5 feet off the ground at the moment. And it's got a pair of black Pegasi at the front to pull it.
Neat.
Black Pegasi with glowing red eyes.
As it should be.
Yes.
And pointy teeth.
Maybe. But yeah, it's big enough to carry the entire party. Yeah, the entire traveling party.
Right.
So, everybody boards.
Quick thing.
Yep.
I'm assuming there's going to be Caedrix is going to want to bring along some servants and whatnot. And if he doesn't, he is, because they're going to be secret agents.
Caedrix has not. Caedrix has not thought of that, because why would I bring servants? He looks very
going to have servants assigned to for looks and for being also guards.
It's also the fact that meeting up with the Dreadlords, you have to flex.
Yep.
You bring an entourage.
Oh, this is that whole politics thing, right?
Is stupid, but is what they are doing. So we are needing to play a game.
Well, yes, I suppose having additional security forces here under guise of being You know, I'm willing to bet you about half of the other Dreadlord servants will be filling exactly the same role.
Almost certainly.
Oh.
No, almost about it. He's certain. I'm betting Zogget's left arm.
Aye.
Well, they're in shop. Is fine.
Yeah, but I like this one.
Yeah, all right. I really don't want to do this. I've got so much research I should be doing.
I'm knowing, boss. Most of us have other things we're needing to do for Tower 2.
I know. But we have to put our faces in and put up with them. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to I'm gonna have to put up with Jancis Aldor.
Oh, he's a jerk. He's all jerks.
You can talk to Wings of Eagles. You can talk to, like, as annoying as Menuria is, he's at least someone you can have a conversation with. Sure, it's going to be weird and uncomfortable, but you can talk to him. I mean, you can talk to Taldrin, but, you know.
Fair warning with Pretty Boy, boss. He is wanting to get more out of you than you are giving, so be careful.
No.
To be fair, if you bring that guy a mirror as a present, you'll at least lose him for like 15 hours.
This is being conservative estimate. More like 3 or 4 days.
But yeah, no. I'm aware Menuria is manipulative, to say the least. Anyways, we should probably be off.
On the way, I'm also going to be tinkering with the teleporter because A, I've got new tech to play with, and B, I actually genuinely do want to miniaturize it down a little as much as I can.
Absolutely. That is totally fair. All right, Rokesh, the tower is yours for the time being. Wish us luck. Hopefully we'll be able to make it back intact. And with that, the driver sort of, flicks the reins, and the Pegasi sort of trot out of the carriage house, as it were, and start galloping, flapping their wings, and the entire skiff takes off.
Whee!
Hooray, I don't have to slither somewhere.
No, you don't.
I'm almost sad that the skiff is not pulled by giant robot wolves. And it's being driven by Meccano Santa.
Well, I'm sorry.
Ho, ho, ho.
Beep boop.
No, it is not being pulled by Meccano Santa. Don't be ridiculous, Eric. It'd be Meccano Krampus.
Yeah, that would be the appropriate thing to do.
And it's not that either. No, the driver is, in fact, Ashor's an ogre.
Cool.
Which is probably for the best because he's got to handle the reins for 2 black Pegasi.
Yeah.
Is it one of those one-eyed ogres?
No.
He's got no depth perception. He's gonna watch 2 months.
No. They've got fully binocular vision.
If you look closer, though, he's quite short. It turns out he's not an ogre. He's a goblin that's been doing the job for a long time.
All right. Well, you have a roughly couple of days trip to get there while flying. It would be, longer if you weren't flying, but, which will get you guys there a little bit early for the conference, but Caedrix decided that flying would basically allow you guys to circumvent dealing with, annoying, traveling through borders and shit.
Yeah. Also, it's dramatic.
Border crossings, what are those?
Well, there are 2 nations nearby that are at war. Borders actually kind of matter there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mange is quite right. Flying in this thing actually will be actually be kind of impressive.
Dramatic.
The bright side, us not having to walk means that there is more time for reading.
Yes, actually.
Woo.
It's a little windy, but definitely not so. It has been constructed so. It's actually been constructed so it is possible to not have pages blown all over the place while you're reading. I have no idea why that would be. Nope, not at all. It's not like Caedrix has about 12 books with him, all of which are ginormous tomes. What? No, that would be wrong.
That'd be silly. That's some light reading for him.
Yeah, very.
All I know is the trip is absolutely miserable for Ignatius, who is somehow getting like sky sick from writing this thing. Probably because he has to read all these reports while doing it, but still.
Several hours into the journey, Diesel is slumped over, holding his head, and holding the books shut in his other hand.
Uh-huh.
Mange is doing that thing where he leans over the side and has the wind blowing through his mouth. Tongue flapping in the wind.
Having the time of his life.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Steno's just over here being immortal and not really noticing the passage of time particularly much.
All right, Zoggett, since you are working on doing some work on the device, I would like you to give me a fix-it roll.
Okay. I figure at the very least I can get rid of the steam engine because I know how to power small electronics, i.e. my arm.
Fair.
Plug it directly into their bioenergy matrix.
A 5.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's not a failure. It's not a catastrophic
bad
or anything
roll.
like that.
Positive number at least, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's
It doesn't explode mid-flight.
right. No, exactly. You don't break anything. You're like, okay. Well, I'll just remove the steam engine and plug it. Wait, what? Why do they? But why is that hooked up? What? Basically, this thing is engineered in a way that actually makes no mechanical sense to you currently.
Oh, it's built by 40K work.
Yeah. Yeah, Gav. This was clearly built by an orc.
Oh, crap.
A very smart orc, but an orc.
Where's their machine gun attached to it?
I wondered what those axe blades were for.
They're for cleaving real space so you can teleport.
Yeah,
Obviously.
It just lobs an axe at the air and it opens up a warp portal. Yeah. Okay.
So you will a little bit later on. I'll have you make another roll.
Yeah.
But, I want you to think about how you're going to approach. Give me a sort of description of how you're going to change your approach.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So yes, your first attempt is I'll just remove the steam engine and. Oh God, I don't know how to remove the steam engine without breaking everything right now. Bloody hell. Who built this thing in orc? Oh, of course it's an orc. Of course. Ah!
Pretty sure there's whirligig on there. It's just for decoration, but it might be really important.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of issue. Is you are 90% sure this thing is completely unimportant, but if you're wrong, if that 10% chance, there's that 10% chance it is absolutely critical.
As far as I know, that's the targeting matrix or something for where people are going to rematerialize.
Right, exactly. All right.
At some point during the journey,
Okay.
Diesel is going to turn to Steno. And he's going to say, Snakehair lady, immortal and wise, yes?
Well, immortal.
The former, certainly. I would hope the latter.
Diesel have question for Snakehair lady.
Proceed.
Diesel is going to open up one of the books he's got. From his opening it up, Seno will be able to read on the title from the cover, which is Goblin Elemental Basilisk by Durkon Halfstouten. Suppose you have symbols M, I, and U. Symbols can be combined to produce strings of symbols. Suppose you are given sequence MI and must transform it into string MU using one of 4 formal rules as follows. I don't know if anyone else has actually read this book.
No.
No.
Godel Bach is...
Oh, that's what you're... Okay.
It's a wonderful book.
Yes,
but
it is. I know what you're talking about now. It's like, it was there going, this sounds familiar. Why am I in that place? Oh, Godel Escher. Right, of course.
The other book sitting next to Diesel is titled The Dragons of Eterna by Kern Sogal.
All right.
Don't think I've read that one.
The Dragons of Eden.
I'm just going to drop an embarrassing spoiler, but I am nowhere near as well read as I'd like to be.
That's okay. That's not the point of it.
When the majority of my recent reading material has been visual novels and porn.
Fair enough.
You do you.
I
But
haven't read anything that wasn't published by Buck Library in about 20 years, so don't worry about it.
the majority of my reading is published in Shonen Jump. So
Yeah.
I haven't actually read one of those two, but I did read Godel Escher Bach at one point. It's a very weird book.
Yes.
And basically, while Diesel is reading this stuff, which I'm sure sounds like nonsense because it basically is, you can see that he's kind of has this sort of almost desperate look in his eyes. Like, help me.
This sounds like Ulysses, but with more equations in it.
Well,
Zeno will look at Diesel and listen to the various descriptors and formulae being presented before her. Now, immortal and allegedly wise though she may be, the computations of portals are not something she's ever taken an interest in. So she will politely listen and nod, and then just simply ask, what happened to that romantic book you had before?
Diesel expanding his horizons.
Ah. That is commendable, Diesel. I must confess, such things are a bit beyond my ken.
As if James Joyce wrote an algebra textbook.
Well, I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. The point of the puzzle is that there is no way to solve it.
So it is if James Joyce wrote an algebra.
Well, the point of it, like many different things in Godel Escher Bach, is to basically show that if you provide a computer with a set of rules and then give it a problem that can't be solved while within those rules, then it will just go around in a circle forever.
Yep.
But if you give it to a human, they'll eventually realize this is all bullshit and will call it out on that.
And Stheno's strategy is to not engage.
Which a computer also cannot do.
So in a roundabout way, we just proved that Stheno is wise.
Yes! A curious game. The only way to win is not to play.
Oh, that's a good movie.
But yes, Stheno will have a brief chat with Diesel about the whole matter, and after not particularly giving it too much thought, will instead suggest lighter reading.
Diesel is trying to discover?
Oh, I did not say to not broaden your horizons. I just don't think that this is quite what you would be best looking into.
But how can Diesel know?
Oh, you've done no wrong. You've given it a try. It doesn't seem to quite be something that's clicking, and there's no harm in that. So simply try something new.
Hmm. Diesel's going to close the books and keep them next to him closed for the rest of the journey.
Although, as someone who has observed many mortal writings in mortal libraries, there may be something interesting written in the margins of the book.
Margins?
Steno will simply point a claw at the point where the parts of the book that she's referring to.
It's probably
I find many mortals often write notes within those pages, within those parts of the tome.
It's probably a scribble somewhere around in there that's just like, this is all bullshit. So
Yeah, there's probably something like that. There are also a couple of spots that are written in an extremely neat and tidy hand.
from Caedrix.
What? No. About, sort of, this is a fascinating sort of very fascinating theory on sort of, basically going into a lot of sort of, theoretical detail about like, the way systems flow into each other and such, and why in artificial constructs, it's like, this is a really interesting sort of thought experiment of why artificial constructs are often not capable of true thought. Fascinating.
Ironically, when I was in high school, reached the exact opposite conclusion when I read that book. So,
yeah. I totally grokked that. I'm just saying, that's like
it's a really interesting book.
Oh, it is.
It's just also confusing and weird and frustrating
yes.
too.
When was it written? Hang on, I gotta look this up.
1979.
Yeah, it's been a long while since I read it. I thought so. God, I think I read that in my I think I read it in my first year of college.
Yeah,
I don't think I've read it. It sounds interesting.
It's fascinating.
Douglas Hofstadter is still alive too.
Yeah, it's a really interesting book, but it's not an easy read.
There are chunks of it that I actually read when I was much younger, because they take the form of just conversations between Aesop and the tortoise.
Right.
So they're a lot easier to just kind of grasp what they're going for, but then it gets into like weird specific examples and stuff, and I didn't read those until I was in high school. So
sounds kind of like trying to read Umberto Eco and going, there's a lot of really good ideas in here, which is prose didn't suck balls.
It's harder to read for different reasons.
Okay.
It's hard to read
mostly it's just talking about things that, like, if you're not used to thinking about them, it's like, hence why Diesel's going,
brain hurt.
And Steno is just saying, yeah, read the Cliff Notes. Saved yourself the trouble.
Diesel's probably looking at them going like, who wrote very helpful notes? While like sitting 3 rows down from the person who did.
Needs to be a bit more selective when he goes to the library, I think.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a way to potentially expand your horizons. It's just, it might cause you a few headaches here and there. Or
and also, Diesel doesn't know how you use a library.
Right.
So I know, I'll just start at the beginning and go through it that way.
Aaron A. Aronson, what?
I didn't think to actually do this specifically until I looked it up, and apparently books on just general knowledge are towards the beginning of the system. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure. Books about knowledge, cool.
Yeah. And yes, Caedrix has read that book more than a few times. I'll just put it that way. All right. Anybody? Okay, Gav, have you come up with a new approach?
Yeah. Zoggit's not known for his patience.
Fair enough.
He's looked at it, can't really figure out what's going on, so it needs something a little bit more diagnostic. So he's going to plug himself into the machine.
Okay.
He's going to hook himself up and run his own diagnostics that he has. And it's basic. No, we don't have computer tech, but we have like some sort of basic rudimentary. Hell, he's a cyborg.
Well, yeah, and magic is a thing.
Yes.
Sufficiently advanced magic is indistinguishable from technology.
Exactly, yes. So he's going to basically run it through himself, see if he can either figure out what's wrong with it.
Yes, Norton's scientific diagnostic.
Yes. Or at the very least, see if he can at least interface with it.
Okay. Give me another fix.
So you're saying he's going to become the gob in the machine.
And I'm going to fortune it as well.
I figured. 12! A 12 is a good thing.
Ooh.
It's a good thing you rolled that fortune die. I mean, you rolled a 10 instead, which is... But yeah, 12. All right, Gav. You plug yourself in. You analyze it. You are very certain. You are now 100% certain that the mechanical bits were definitely designed by an orc.
Great.
The magical bits are actually a lot more sophisticated, and are. You're not sure who did it, but it is not your typical sort of. Most orc magical engineers that you're aware of tend to be a little bit more cavalier towards their approach to engineering.
Make space, jam in magic rock.
Yeah, basically. If you didn't know any better, you are certain this thing was done as a collaboration between an orc and a dwarf.
Huh.
Like the magical bits are like you swear to God, it is like right out of the textbooks that the dwarven magical engineers write. But you are able to. But by doing all this, you are fairly certain you know how to run this thing without the steam engine. You figure you leave on the crank bit anyways because it's a good backup.
Mm-hmm.
By removing the steam engine, will make it much, much later. It's still not going to be small, but
Yeah.
You're not carrying around a giant water tank for steam.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I'll at the very least make that adjustment then. So basically, I'm going to dismantle the steam engine side of it and figure out an alternate way to basically spark the magic.
Yeah. You're between you and I'm going to say that you actually get some help from Rocky.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who will be able to help you come up with a magical power source that will here remove the steam engine and put this rock in there.
Yeah, basically.
Replace the steam engine with a magical rock.
I don't want to speak for Skitch when he's not here, but I was actually... Since he is a construct, would we be able to have Rocky carry it and have him spark it? Instead of, a magical rock, since he is a magical rock?
In theory, maybe, but if you think just putting an enchanted rock in... You're fairly certain that Rocky could jumpstart it if need be.
Okay.
Like, yeah, Rocky knows enough. Rocky's powerful enough magically that he could basically just dump mana into it, in theory.
Okay, that's an emergency at the very least then.
Yeah.
Okay, well that takes about, 3 tons off the weight.
All right. And with that, the time has passed, and you arrive. Several days have passed, and you arrive at Menuria's palace. And it is a palace. It is enormous and baroque and simultaneously, like it is a stunning example of just sheer beauty and architecture. Yet at the same time, it's just somehow grotesque and but fascinating.
And tacky.
It should be tacky, is the thing. Somehow it isn't. It's really freaking weird.
Are you telling me that this thing was built by like a Dada architect?
Kinda.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Like, there are elements of that you...
Oh shit, the architecture means business. We're in trouble.
Honestly, there are parts of it that, Mange, you're aware that staring at some parts of the palace is just not a good idea.
It was definitely developed by a Dada architect. Gotcha.
Like, they are simultaneously fascinating and can drive one mad if you look at them too long. You've been here before, so,
Yeah, it makes it's definitely Dada. It is somehow both complete shit and somehow has something interesting to say, but you have to look at the shit to do it.
I mean, it could be worse. Could be the inevitable city.
Where the orcs are green and the girls are creepy.
Come on, Eric. You've played Warhammer Online.
Yep.
All right. So the skiff comes swooping in, and you are met by outside by Menuria's palace guard. In their, again, like, their armor is simultaneous. Again, it is simultaneously like very obviously functional, but like overly and ostentatiously gilded and decorated, and it really should be more hideous looking than it is.
Fucking Emperor's children.
Yeah.
Oh, one note as well with the teleporter thing. Just one last thing.
Yep.
I'm gonna basically what's left. I'm gonna sling it as a backpack and try and make it look like it's integrated into myself, so that it's like not like confiscated or it's part of me. I'm a cyborg.
Right. Fair enough. All right. As you debark, you see the area where Mange, you recognize one particular group of the palace guard there as Menuria's honor guard. They actually have probably the most utilitarian looking armor in the entire area. It's not utilitarian looking, but it is less gaudy and ostentatious than the regular palace guard.
Right.
Because that is exactly the sort of thing Menuria does.
Right.
They're the ones he wants to actually be able to fight.
It's not in that. It is, they are somehow stand out more and are more ostentatious by being less ostentatious.
Yep. I'm exactly familiar with this concept.
And as Caedrix debarks, you see them sort of, the honor guards come walking forward, open up rank, as Menuria comes striding languidly forward. Menuria is a very tall human? He's very tall, very lanky, very long-limbed, very large hands with long fingers, sort of a long, elegant face. And large numbers of his, sort of the way his body is sort of put together, it really should be, like a lot of things here, shouldn't be as attractive as it is, but somehow just the weird way, the various facial features and the way his body sort of fits together, combined with the languid grace with which he moves, is eye-catching, and you basically can't help but watch him. It's very strange. And he comes sort of striding forward and says, Caedrix, you are the first to grace us with your presence. Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate it. Indeed, Menuria, indeed. Your guard are here. Wonderful, wonderful. It is a truly glorious day to see a fellow Dreadlord joining us here. Come, come, I must show you to your quarters. Bring your guards with you. We will show you to the wing of the palace where you will be staying. Indeed. Ah! In fact, I think I recognize one of your guards.
Mange, who has had like his eyes locked on him, his ears pricked forward, and his head low, has finally failed to not start like snarling at being recognized.
How can I forget one of the best gladiators that has ever graced my pits? It is glorious to see you again, Mage. I'm glad you have found employment befitting your talents.
He's better there than ever was here.
Of course. He basically says that in a tone that I'm not sure I conveyed properly, but he doesn't believe that for a second, because how is that possible? But, he's willing to humor the lesser people in their delusions. I mean, of course that's...
I just like that groan that just came out a moment ago.
Yeah. It's like, really? One of these guys?
Oh yeah. But yeah, he turns around and sort of gestures forward, sort of languidly with his hand, and sort of flicks his finger forward. Come, come, come! I must show you to your. As I said, I must show you to your quarters. You are the second to arrive. We have been graced by the presence of the Archlich himself. He arrived before you did. Caedrix sort of, Jancis is here already? Indeed! I'm sure you two have much to catch up on.
Is there any, indication of what Jancis actually came in on? Like, is his ride still here?
Actually, as you look around, you do notice that in this sort of courtyard, there is a large obsidian obelisk that's just sort of standing there that does not belong. It is large. You're not entirely certain what. It's like, that clearly doesn't belong. What the hell? Like, you see no other indication of possible means of transportation. There's just a random obsidian and Eric, that wasn't here when you were last here.
Of course not. It's not tacky.
No. It's an obsidian obelisk about 30 feet tall. And you look carefully at the base, you can sort of make out what looks like possibly an entrance into it. It's hard to tell because, obsidian being black and, the entrance being dark. And, yeah. There's a bit of it it looks like sort of roughly the shape of a portal that's not quite as shiny.
Fucking Necrons.
As you are heading in, you head in, and you are, again, the palace it's gaudy as all fuck, but it is, again, still somehow, everything has been chosen, everything in here is gaudy, but somehow it all works together, because this guy, just, why? No, why this shouldn't work. It is simultaneously hideous and beautiful, and it is awful. And the palace is filled. You see guards here and there. There are people all over the place. There are people in various places, all sort of indulging in various pleasures of large and varied sorts. From academic debates, to eating, to simply lazing about, to other things. It is a very... It's definitively sort of a palace to hedonism, really, in a lot of ways. Palace is not the right word. Temple to hedonism. Both the good and bad senses of that.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
And you arrive at the section of the palace where you're going to be staying, which is, thankfully, less ostentatious than the rest of the palace. Your eyes get a rest. Oh, there's also music everywhere. Unfortunately, a lot of it clashes with each other. And yet, somehow, within that weird clashing, there's a bizarre and terrible melody that you can almost pick out.
Of course.
Ignatius is like when they finally arrive at the guest room, just kind of rubs his eye sockets. He's like, finally, something that's not gold plated.
Kinda. I trust these accommodations will be to your liking. I must go and make sure that my other guests are taken care of. Thank you for coming, and I will see you all later. Menuria turns slowly and sort of glides out of the room.
Diesel's going to start searching the room.
Okay. What are you looking for? Anything in particular?
Peepholes, traps, listening, phones, those kind of like pipe phone things.
Yep.
Just general stuff like.
You do find communication devices. It's pipe phone type things. You do not spot any peepholes or traps or anything like that. Oh, sorry, you should actually give me your notice roll before I forget.
Oh, yeah. Where am I? Notice check. There it is. Dave.
Yep. You find,
All right.
as I said, yes, you find exactly what I just described.
All right. But the listening phones are like the kind that you have to like pick up and deliver leads. Yeah. Okay.
They're not always. They're not always on. No.
Okay.
But yeah, it does not look like this place has been set up to be surreptitiously spied upon. At least, not that you are able to notice.
Well, that's not entirely too surprising. I'm
Yeah.
sure that if we're meeting at a different Dreadlord's place, it might be a different story. So.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Mange takes a moment to compose himself and then starts like posting guards and whatnot.
Mhm.
And smooths down the hackles down his neck.
Caedrix walks by. What sort of wanders by? Mange, I apologize. I should have remembered. Are you going to be okay? Is this all right?
Would not be letting you come here without me. Is best that I am here.
All right. If things are an issue, let me know, though.
This will not be issue. I'm on best behavior. No problems.
Oh, I'm not worried about your behavior, Mange. I'm just worried that this is going to be uncomfortable for you.
Aww.
See, this is why you are being best, boss. And he gives him a hug.
Aww.
Thank you, Mange. I appreciate it.
My heart.
I like to imagine that didn't come out as an awe, but like a puppy going like.
Like Mange just made like a little. Mange like made a little noise.
But you are needing something still so fucking tacky. Making sure he says that loud enough that anyone listening can hear.
Fucking tacky. Just going down the hallway.
Well, I mean, how can anyone concentrate to do anything here is what I want to know.
He is stupid man wanting stupid things. But we are making sure things are good. We are having guards. Diesel's already checking for listings. No offense being Diesel, but you are not finding them. He is stupid, but he is smarter than that.
Diesel looks kind of like is kind of like looking in a weird way at Mange, but he doesn't say anything just yet.
All right.
So, one thing he is having though is if you can get the music to like just one song at one time, is good music.
Just one song at one time. Why are there 12 at once?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, in Somerville, where I live, once a year there's something called the Hunk Festival in Davis Square, where you have a lot of bands playing. The problem is that they are all playing different songs. It's about 30 different bands playing about 100 different songs at once.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this painful cacophony
Mm-hmm.
for a whole weekend.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware.
Of course, you're aware.
I used to live in the same general area as Eric did.
Yeah. So so just so I'm just describing what the palace sounds
Yeah,
like.
no, exactly. No, that's where I was going, Eric. And yet somehow with the weird within that discordant terror, there's a terrible melody. It's really just
A certain dirge.
While everybody else is getting set up, Ignatius is going around and he's looking at the sheets and checking the thread count, and he's going to the bathroom and looking at how nice the towels are and the little mini things are.
You do what I do. You do what I've learned to do whenever I stay at a hotel now.
Yeah, he's just planning on what he's gonna take when he leaves.
Okay. Addendum to that previous statement. When you've worked at a hotel for a bit, you learn what everyone complains about, and you will learn what to watch out for if there's something wrong with the room. So,
yeah,
Mange does go up. Mange does go up to the wet bar and pours himself something expensive and good tasting, because of course it's going to be something expensive and good tasting.
well, yeah.
it's going to be some
Ignatius
stuff
is
that's expensive and bad tasting.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Ignatius is marveling on how expensive everything is and how everything was chosen wrong. It's like, why would you want like your bath self to smell like elderberries? What? Why?
His bottom point is terrible.
Just went through the catalog and made sure to get the most expensive of each item, regardless of how they went together.
No, actually, it's specifically like everything is almost chosen to conflict with each other.
These bath towels are 1,000 counts, but it has his face on it. Who would want these?
Who does green paisley with mauve towels?
While people are settling in and getting up, set up to just stay for a bit.
And getting riled up, you mean?
Sure, whatever. Diesel is going to try and pull Stheno and Mange aside. Might just pull Stheno over.
Mange will be available. He's mostly just having a drink to calm down and overseeing the guards setting up and getting. Yeah, most of these guys are competent. I chose them well. He's just trying to look busy.
Once he's got them pulled over, Diesel will say in what for him is a low voice, Hyena Captain have dispute with Menuria.
Excuse me. Used to be slave for fighting pits. Is not happy memory, but important to be here.
Diesel want warn Hyena Captain and Snake Hair Lady. If Jachal come, will not treat Diesel kindly. is not meant to be insult. Just way that you shall interact with Doomborn. Diesel did not have name when Diesel left. Diesel may not be recognized, may be spoken to with his number. These are not insults to a Doomborn. Okay?
I'm understanding. You
Of
are one of best here, so is insult nonetheless. You are deserving name.
No, not insult.
I understand what you mean.
No need for Captain Hyena to be upset on Diesel's behalf. Okay?
If you are not upset, then Mange is not upset. Besides, little secret for you. Part of the reason you are here is to be rubbing in his face, yes?
Diesel not think that will be effective tactic.
It's fine. His little game Mange is playing for self.
Okay.
Besides, you are one of our best fighters. You are here for keeping Caedrix safe, is what is important.
Yes. Live for Caedrix! Die for Caedrix! And of course, everyone, so everyone in the room can hear it.
From off on one of the sides. Thank you, Diesel.
This is where like Caedrix would give him a banana sticker at this point.
Basically, Caedrix sort of says that sort of distractedly as he's reading a book, but it's very clear that he actually means it. It's just like, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, this is clearly Diesel's thing. I am not going to fault him for it. Or try
Not hurting anybody.
Nope.
He's not yet.
And he appreciates the sentiment.
Okay. Diesel just trying to avoid incident.
I understand.
I'm glad you are telling. So we are having laugh when all is done at him being stupid with you, yes?
Yes, laugh. Thing that Diesel do very naturally. Ha 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 ha.
That just gets a big grin off on Mange's face.
Your forethought on the matter is most appreciated, Diesel.
Yes, is good that you are telling us.
Diesel only looking to be in service to Caedrix.
Good, is making everyone happy then. Well, maybe not other Dreadlords, but no one is caring of them yet.
At about that time, you hear what sounds like an enormous thunderclap from outside somewhere.
Ah, the doorbell.
Not exactly. It's like at first it's like, oh, that was a large explosion, but then it sort of peals and rumbles like thunder does afterwards. And it sounds like it's coming from roughly the direction of the courtyard.
Can we like see like there's like a window to the courtyard in our like
Sure, why
little
not?
area?
Sure. I imagine there's actually a fairly expansive balcony with really ugly patio furniture.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
The balcony looks exactly like it was designed for someone to throw open the doors and walk out onto dramatically.
Yes.
Sitting at the top of their
Yeah,
lungs.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes. Like, if you open the patio doors, it feels wrong to not fling them open. It's just somehow part of you just feels like, I just did that wrong somehow.
There's spring
Before Mange
assistant.
opens the doors, he goes into the dresser drawer, pulls out a long frilly robe, puts it on, and then pushes open the doors like a dramatic, like, recent widow in like a film noir story.
Yep. As you do so, the wind billows past you and makes the robe flutter.
He then takes off the robe and throws it on the ground.
Out in the courtyard, there is sort of smoke sort of rising up off the ground, and there's a big blackened circle in the middle. You see Menuria's honor guard marching out to meet a very large contingent of undead warriors. Standing in the middle of which is a circle of people in what are very clearly mages' robes. You're given by the rest of the contingent, they're probably undead. And in the middle is a very large warrior wearing spiky black plate armor with a massive axe slung over his back. You are 99% certain that is Taldrin the Unbroken. You can see the glowing red eyes from here, and it's like, several football fields away.
Eyes like that making very hard to be sneaky.
That's why I'm working on that teleportation spell. I'm guessing that's Taldrin?
I'm thinking so, boss.
It sounds like the teleportation spell his mage's favor.
It's very loud, and best part is ruining flagstones.
These are not seen so many Dreadlords before. Was in position where, if see Dreadlord would die.
Is not what happening here. Hopefully.
Diesel aware. Never go on diplomatic mission before.
It's not true. You were with us when you go to village. You are good there.
Oh yeah.
Ignatius just like is thinking about the diplomatic mission. He just had, or he would have had a tiny heart attack just now. He still had a heart in his chest. He's like, "Oh God, I gotta teach Diesel how to use the silverware."
Oh yeah. I don't know if Diesel's ever used silverware. Period.
That's okay. Mange is going to make a point of not using them.
I mean, the only in-universe time that he's used silverware was to throw a knife at someone. So on screen, I guess I should say.
Yeah, fair enough. You see Menuria sort of. You can see Menuria greeting Taldrin. You can feel the impatience and irritation with Menuria from Taldrin from here.
Sure.
It's like he is barely containing his irritation at the moment. It's like,
yeah, it's a guy's obsessed with his looks versus a guy who wears a mask all the time, basically.
I mean, it's the. Oh my God! It is the world's most powerful Death Knight staring at Menuria. It's like, ugh. Yeah, you can get on with it.
Korn having to have a conversation with Slaanesh.
Basically, knowing that this is not the time or place to actually just cut Slaanesh's head off. Not that would actually help.
Probably exactly what Slaanesh should be looking for anyway.
Menuria pivots and sort of walks away, sort of doing that sort of gesture to walk to the people behind him to follow him. You can almost hear the teeth grinding from here.
From which one? Both, probably.
Yeah, you're fairly certain the two of them can't stand each other. You then hear
They come back. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick. What were you saying?
Oh, but the two of them go back to the palace. Menuria could be described as gliding. The other guy can be described as trudging.
Well, marching, because you hear him bellow out a command, and the undead legion behind him form up into rank and come marching after him.
He also has some semblance of a sense of appearance.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a different one.
Very different. Yeah, he is. They march in formation. The mages flank him. You'd say it looks like they're about at least a half dozen spellcasters of some sort, going by the robes. As they get closer, you can make out there are different types of undead amongst them. Not a single one of them are liches. At least, not as far as you can tell. As they reach the palace doors, you also then hear sort of what sounds like the thundering of a large group of riding animals come sort of storming up over the hill. And you can see a large group of various sorts of predatory riding animals being ridden by it's very clearly Wings of Eagles and her tribe. She is riding an enormous large cat of some sort. Sort of, it's basically the biggest tiger you think you've ever seen.
Super tiger.
Basically, her tribe sort of pulls up. She dismounts. Gestures to them, and she points over to one side of the courtyard, and they basically take a bunch of stuff off the backs of their animals and wagons and such, and start basically setting up tents and such. As Menuria turns around, sees what they're doing, you could sort of get that impression of he was going to invite them all inside to stay, but he's like, never mind.
And thus the evil was defeated. The evil being the decor, of course.
Menuria looks very, very annoyed. Briefly. There's that sort of, you can sort of see, there's a way, sort of the way he's walking, there's a look. The first time you've ever seen, the first time anyone except for Mange has ever seen anything other than sort of languid grace moving through his movements, he tenses up for about a second before he settles down.
This has a big, honest to goodness, just ecstatic grin on his face. He is being very mad about that. Is good to be seeing. Wishing I had thought of that.
Wings of Eagles walks up without any honor guard, any sort of honor guard or anything like that around her. Just walks up to Menuria, claps him on the shoulder, and sort of turns him and walk back into the palace.
Somebody's really casual with Menuria.
Wings of Eagles gives no two shits about anybody.
I get the impression that, obviously none of these Dreadlords like each other. I have a feeling this is all just Tuesday to them as far as dealing with one another. All right, just going to come in, be myself, and piss them off.
Basically.
It's just the Eurovision sound contest for Dreadlord.
Kinda. While they're heading in, a portal then opens up in the middle of a portal rends itself open in the middle of the courtyard. In an eye sort of just, it is one of the most painful things to look at you have ever seen. It is basically like reality rends itself apart for a brief moment. And then there, floating, is Jexiel surrounded by a host of Doomborn. Who follow him in as he drifts forward, and basically just drifts right by Menuria, ignoring him.
Question: which is harder to
behold
look
it.
at, the portal or the decor?
The portal. Like the decor here is eye-searing and painful, but at least it's actually real and actually physically possible. The portal just looked wrong. Those are the only really notable, like Morbask, comes riding in, leading a large contingent of gnolls, and I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, Zurus Kitarane shows up at some point. Like, from what you understand, he was all of a sudden somewhere inside the palace, just there. Poof! I'm here now.
Front doors are for losers.
What, coming through the door like a peasant?
What's his narrative causality? I was always here.
Yes. But yeah, so all the Dreadlords are now actually here. And there's definitely a change in sort of the general atmosphere of the place. There's a definitive ratcheting up of tension.
To no surprise.
Yeah. When you have 8 very powerful beings and their followers here all at once, and none of them like each other. Well, that's not entirely accurate. Yeah, none of them like each other. There is active hatred between most of them, but most of that, none of that hatred, with one exception, is actually 2 exceptions, is directed at Caedrix. Like, nobody really, like, yes, Jansis Aldor and Zurus Kitarane really dislike Caedrix. Tal'Darim is like, what? Oh, he's an undead spellcaster. Okay, sure, fine. He's another Death Lord. Fine, I can. He's done nothing to piss me off yet. Okay, whatever. Menuria is sort of amused by Caedrix. Morbask is sort of had the same attitude as Tal'Darim. Wings of Eagles. It's really hard to tell what Wings of Eagles thinks of anybody. And Jexiel doesn't think about anybody, so, Jexiel's a beholder. You're all just definitively lesser beings. Like,
I mean, clearly.
Look at how many eyes he's got.
Like, the other Death Lords are just powerful enough to be worth noticing. At all.
Look at
Perhaps
me with
it's
my
been a while
impressive
from-
11 eyes. How many do you have? 2?
Loser. 2 eyes. 2 eyes. Gets all their followers chanting it too. He's like, well, you have 2 eyes as well. 2 eyes. 2 eyes.
Thank you, Baron and Yankee.
Is there anything you guys want to do before I move to the next sort of bit?
I would like an out-of-character clarification because
Sure.
it's been a while and I don't remember.
Mhm.
What is it that qualifies Wings of Eagles to be a Dreadlord again?
That's actually that is one of those things that she is just recognized as one. Like a lot, like there's actually a lot of, like, outside of the Dread, like all the other Dreadlords except her is one of them. But just, as far as anyone can tell, she is a were-tiger who leads a nomadic tribe and is yet considered one of the Dreadlords. It's sort of one of those. Nobody is actually sure. Like, the Dreadlords aren't telling, and Caedrix has no freaking clue because he's new.
Right. Like, the presumption might be that, she's just that much of an ass kicker. and has the following to back it up.
That is the working assumption, yes.
Right.
She's also probably the least overtly evil of them.
That's what I was asking, because it's just kind of like, wait a minute.
I mean, nearest I can tell, the only requisite for being a Dreadlord is for the other Dreadlords to recognize you as such.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
good.
not like they've got like a club.
It's a treehouse club.
Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
they've got some intense like application system. Probably.
I mean,
It's
I
just
will
like-
say, all the other ones definitely have control over at least one nexus of power. But Wings of Eagles it leads a nomadic tribe, so
Mhm.
Right.
it's possible that there are that in her main the main territory she travels in, there are nexi of power that she basically has domain over. But like, it really it's one of those. It seemed like at first glance, like the first assumption would be, yeah, well, if you have to be very powerful and have access to at least one nexus of power. Clearly, that's what they. But wait, no. Okay, well, you're clearly an evil overlord who's trying to. But wait, she doesn't really qualify, and neither does Caedrix really. He qualifies under the. Oh fuck. My internet. It looks like my internet is dropping. If you guys can hear me.
You are right.
I am getting the occasional syllable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you. You just not coming in regular.
So for the recording should still be going, but my internet is dropping right now. There went OBS down. Boy. So my internet is being derp. So for the recording, I'm gonna sort of banter for a bit while it is reconnecting. I'm guessing my internet is actually dropping entirely. Yep, there it went. This is unfortunate. I do apologize for those listening to the recording. My internet is being a little unstable at the moment, and it'll take a little bit for it to come back up. So I don't know what to do until it comes back. I've got a vamp. So yeah, I'm not sure how I want to handle this at the moment. But so for those of you listening to the recording, thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging in with us. We're having some technical difficulties at the moment. I would play music, but I play like some of those music era, but that would require an internet connection to get to the music I would play for this. So it should be coming back up shortly. So internet should be coming back in a moment here. All right. All right, stream.
Funko Pop.
And there we go.
Yeah, the Funko Pop thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wait, Peter's back.
My internet
Welcome
dropped
back.
there. It is back.
Hooray!
Welcome back.
There's
You're no longer like stuck inside the internet.
No, I'm not. I'm back. I am alive. My internet is working again. Hooray. Yeah, for those of you who are listening, recording, as I said during that, and those of you watching on stream, I've been having internet issues for the past month or so, where it will randomly drop out here or there. So I apologize for that, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Goddamn you, Spectrum. Also, I totally understand. As an aside, I totally understand why it's taking a while for them to fix anything, because I suspect
Right.
they have fewer repair workers available than they normally would. But also, it's Spectrum, so yeah. So what was the last thing you heard me saying, guys?
You were basically telling us how nobody really knew why Wings of Eagles was
Right.
one of the lords, because she doesn't seemingly have access to a nexus. She's not some sort of evil overlord, so it's just kind of like
Yeah,
she
she leads a band of nomads and raiders. They'll raid villages and such like that, but they're not they don't sack them and kill all the villagers. They'll ride through, take what provisions they need, and ride on. In fact,
I'm convinced. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Eric?
I'm convinced that she basically just has a knapsack full of Philosopher's Stone, so that counts.
I mean, possibly.
Oh, for the sake of.
But it's very clear that she definitely has at least the ass-kicking qualifications on her side, because none of the other Dreadlords have actually tried tangling with her in recent memory, in any sort of recorded memory. So, and she's been around. She's definitely the newest of the Dreadlords, other than Caedrix, because she's mortal and is not like a necromancer or anything like that, or apparently trying to attain godhood. And she's, unlike Morbast, she's not out to conquer the world.
So what you're saying is it's time for us to make a friend.
If you want to try, you can.
Senna's upset because her last attempt to make a friend failed.
Rude.
It's just an observation.
Senna will sit in the non-canon corner and cry.
All right. But yeah, so if there's anything you guys want to do before I get to before I do the next major scene, this is a good opportunity for you to do that.
Mange is going to familiarize himself with this part of the palace and quick exits and look for secret tunnels or passages or.
All right, give me an detective roll.
That is a thing that I am capable of doing because I actually have that skill.
That's why I said that one.
I definitely found a secret tunnel, but it leads directly to the garbage pit.
Eric, I'll put it this way. So here's what you find. One, you don't find any easy ways out of the palace from this wing of the palace.
Yep.
Two, you find secret. Oh boy, do you find secret passages. You find lots of secret passages because there are tons of them, and none of them go anywhere useful.
And that takes me to the pleasure dungeon. That takes me to the torture dungeon. That takes me to the combination pleasure torture dungeon. That takes me to the bathhouse. That takes me to the bathhouse filled entirely with almond milk. That takes me to the bathhouse filled entirely with goat milk.
Why do all these tunnels take me to the same building?
Why do they need so much milk here?
Right next to the torture chamber is the debate room.
This tunnel takes me to the porno theater. This tunnel takes me to the really swank porno theater. This tunnel takes me to the really scuzzy porno theater.
At previous points in history, Steno has experienced all three of these.
And now I'm just thinking about that movie theater that was in the Paris catacombs for a while. That's some people just built out of all the bones. This massive theater.
This one takes me to the room constructed entirely out of living people stitched together. That's nice.
I'll be going now. I like that one. Infinity's in the chat. This tunnel takes me to the same hallway I was already in.
Just Scooby doing it. You know, in one door, coming out another door in the hallway. What the hell?
Oh my god! I just remembered. Okay, very quick aside. I just remembered one of my favorite things on the internet when I was in college. C. Jackson Games had a website called Warehouse 23.
I vaguely remember its existence.
And one little section on there was the sort of pseudo fake Warehouse 23, which is like it's like it's like sort of a fake sort of warehouse like the one from Indiana Jones. Where the top men take things to be quote studied.
Right.
And there are boxes you could open, and they had all these weird little things you could find in them. My favorite box opening text that you got from when you decided to open a box was, inside the box you find a slightly larger box.
Wait a minute.
So, funny thing, Warehouse 23 is still around, and they have the basement thing here still, too.
I'm not surprised.
Open a random box. You've opened one of a Ziploc bag containing an 8-inch wooden wheel and a few sheets of paper. It's weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
Slightly larger box. It's gonna blow my mind for a while.
Oh, this tunnel takes me to the room filled with Michael McDowell. Just all of Malcolm McDowell, all his roles, and the actual actor.
This room takes you to Mange's bedroom.
God damn it.
No, don't look at my posters.
All right. So, the next big scene is the first meeting of the first of the meetings for the Dreadlords. And the Dreadlords' inner circles are expected to be there. The ones they're expected to have their bodyguards and anybody they want, any sort of they're allowed to bring a small handful of observers with them if they so choose. So Caedrix will bring an appropriate bodyguard squad and any player characters who want to be there.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah, Mange is going to be there. Mange pretty much isn't letting Caedrix out of his sight.
As Diesel has been assigned as part of the bodyguard squad, he will be there unless specifically instructed by someone to not be there. So,
all right. So you are all in the big meeting room, which is astonishingly the least gaudy room you've seen in the palace yet. It's got a couple of tacky statues on the table. That's about it. The table itself, it's got a big sort of conference table, which has sort of gilt edges around it, but they're reasonably tasteful. The chairs are all very large and a little bit they're ostentatious, but not that tacky, and they match reasonably well with the table and look actually genuinely comfortable. There's a few tacky statues in the corners of the room, but that's about it. The walls of the room are sort of white marble. Yeah, it's got the floor is sort of a checkerboard sort of a marble checkerboard pattern in red and white.
Ooh.
It's and there is a lone musician in here playing a song, and you can't hear any music from the rest of the palace.
It's Paco Bell, isn't it?
Of course it's Paco. Sure, why not?
And the musician is in fact a horrific fusion of both Elton John and Freddie Mercury.
Oh God,
no. But yeah, it's not tacky. It's actually a little disconcerting. The various Dreadlords are in the room. Most of them are staying apart from each other because, again, they don't like each other at all.
Right.
See, yes, I have to tolerate these people, but, these are my colleagues.
My peers, if I could said to have such a thing.
Yes. My peers.
So looking around,
mm-hmm.
using Ignatius's knowledge of minion politics, does he recognize any of the major players from the other Dreadlords, like personnel? Like, is there anybody there that would be important for us to know about in the entourages? I can do a roll for this.
Sure, give me a roll.
All right. Yeah. Did I go through? Oh wait, I did that.
Well, all right then.
All right then.
Ignatius knows everybody in the fucking room.
Yeah, pretty much actually.
Ignatius is just waving at every second person.
So,
hey, Bob, I stand.
To answer your question, you do actually recognize all the important ones. I can't name all of them off the top of my head, and I don't want to sort of just come up with a bunch of stuff right now.
You don't need to. Yeah.
The ones of note that I know off the top of my head. You immediately recognize Wings of Eagle's right hand, who is a her sort of her basically her I shouldn't say her right hand, her body, basically her bodyguard. Not that she really needs one, apparently, but she has one because Dreadlord's supposed to.
Yeah.
Who is a positively enormous orc warrior of some sort. Who's got a great sword slung over his back. I don't remember his. I don't have a name for him yet, so I'm not gonna make one up on the spot. I will do so later. But I remember sort of the concept of the character, but I hadn't named him yet. And let's see who else. Jexiel does not have any sort of particularly notable people there. He's got there are a few Doomborn in the room that are sort of there are always at least like 4 Doomborn standing around Jexiel. And there's one other non-Doomborn with him, which is you see an Illithid sort of standing sort of about a couple of feet behind Jexiel and to the left.
Does Diesel recognize this Illithid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so does Ash. Yeah, this is there is it is one of a trio of mind flayers who are basically sort of Jexiel's lieutenants, as it were.
As much as Jexiel has lieutenants.
Yeah. They are among the higher ranking of Jexiel's thralls. He brought one of the 3 with him. You know that the one thing you do know about them is the 3 mind flayers are basically in permanent sort of have a permanent mental link going. They're always sort of in telepathic contact with one another, like at all times.
I'm waiting for them.
I imagine Ignatius is just kind of like casually mentioning this to Caedrix, while because Caedrix would be able to keep track of all this. So yeah, watch out for that guy. Watch out for that guy. That one's okay, but don't insult their caller. They're very sensitive about that. And just being major domo for the moment at the the event.
Yeah, not like Taldrin is interestingly, Taldrin doesn't have any like warrior type bodyguards with him. He just has the 6 mages that came with him are in the room. They all have their own reps. I'm not going to go into them right now. But they're
Ignatius knows all the reps because they're undead and they're probably infamous.
Oh yeah. Like these are all individuals who they're not quite on. They're not on the level of Jansis or Zurus, but they're all extremely powerful undead wizards. Caedrix is probably beats them out, but not by that much. And there are 6 of them, and they've all volunteered to work for Taldrin. like the rep is they all sought him out to work for him. Much to both Jansis Aldor and Zurus's irritation. See, I'm the most powerful undead wizard. I clearly will have, I'm the most powerful necromancer. That's an amusing thought, mortal. If you were the most powerful necromancer, you'd be a lich too. Why?
I mean, that sounds like something you do after you're done, living.
Like, why would I want to stop being mortal? Stop being being human right now? Well, because then you'd be an immortal lich. Yeah, you give up a lot for that.
Shut up!
No, you don't. I don't remember anything like that. That's because you've been undead for like a millennia, dude.
You've forgotten the simple joy of sitting on the toilet reading a magazine.
But yeah, they're like, honestly, a large part of both Jan Cizaldor and Zurus's irritation with Caedrix is that there are like, undead mages who went to work for him, and they're like, but why are you not coming to work for us? Because you're arrogant bastards.
I think that covers just about everybody.
Pretty much. Morbask, Morbask, who's the undead Gnoll warlord, has several Gnoll warriors with him, all of whom have their own. He's got a pair of Gnoll warriors with him, and at least one shaman. Menuria just has his honor guard in the room, and a few of his choice slaves doing things. Some of them are in various different roles because that's who Menuria is.
So as far as Ignatius can tell, everybody's brought the proper people, and there's the proper amount of people they would have brought. Like, nothing feels a little off.
No, everyone's brought what they normally would bring. Yes, like
all right, that's some good information.
Yeah. Jexiel you can see Jexiel sort of scanning the room, giving off that air of, oh my god, why am I here? Why am I putting up with these?
Look at them with their limbs and having to touch the ground and.
Diesel's trying not to stare over towards Jexiel's side of the table. But he does kind of like glance over towards the other Doomborn occasionally.
They don't seem to be paying you any mind. They are all fixated. They notice you, but that's but in the same way they notice all the other sort of potential threats to Jexiel in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the mind flayer walks up to the beholder, and you can you get the impression that it's whispering something to him. Jexiel looks visibly irritated, but sort of does the beholder equivalent of a nod. I don't know what that is.
The whole thing just goes warm.
Poor Jexiel, like no matter where he puts his eye stalks, it's going to be looking at something terrible.
Pretty much. So he comes drifting over towards Caedrix, actually.
Mange is within arm's reach of Caedrix at all times and has a studied air of nonchalance insolence about him. Like, this is funny.
Jexiel sort of drifts over and says, hang on. Caedrix, the ever-living, I believe. Correct? Caedrix looks up. Yes, Jexiel. I have been told I should. It is proper protocol to greet the other Dreadlords. I confess I don't pay much attention to that usually. I greet you, Caedrix, the unliving. I greet you, Jexiel, crafter of flesh. Excellent. Your contingent is varied. Fascinating. Huh. He says he actually takes notice of Diesel. I was not aware there was a Doomborn outside of my territories. Oh. That one is interesting. You, Doomborn. He sort of gestures one of his eye stalks over towards. He pivots one of his eye stalks over towards Diesel.
Diesel will turn his head to look at him and is really trying not to look tense.
What was your number? What number were you?
Diesel straightens up as if like a drill sergeant has just asked him a question, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he recites, "Disposable soldier, Lambda 0410.
Ah. You're a year past your date, aren't you?
Yes.
Fascinating. I shall have to make a note of that. Very well. Well, Caedrix, one of your followers seems to have provided me with at least something worth having come to this meeting for. I appreciate that. Now I must go greet the others. Wings of Eagles is next. Yeah, right. Pivot drifts off.
At this point, everyone realizes Mange is sort of had as soon as he Jexial addressed Diesel, Mange sort of sidled his way so he was behind him, so he had him had the beholder flanked in case shit started.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how well flanking a beholder works, but
It works terribly. But yeah, that was what he was. That was what he was doing.
Flanking beholder is what they call not possible.
Well, but I have access to your vital bit. Wait, you're all just this, aren't you?
At least I'm not in the cone of effect of your central eye. That's like the only thing I've got going for me here.
Which, seeing as Mange doesn't do magic, doesn't matter.
Nope.
Diesel does visibly not collapse, but slump a bit once Jikshaw has gone away.
You get a pat on the shoulder from Mange.
Relieved, Diesel.
He said I gave him something worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Is this being good or bad?
Yeah, Ignatius is raising an eyebrow in the way you can only tell if you actually knew him.
Diesel did not have to leave.
It's better here with Caedrix.
I'm not so certain the question is, did you have to? Rather, it is what you should do.
Avoid incident. And he's going to straighten up to attention again.
That gets a nod from Mange and a concerned look, but he's not going to push anything here, obviously.
Right.
And he goes back to being mildly insolent, noshing on whatever snacks are around and drinking and leaning on expensive statues.
You hear a wheezing sort of hyena-like cackle as Morbask sort of comes stumping up.
Is Morbask. He is not the worst.
That actually gets another cackle out of Morbask. You are funny.
I'm trying. It's good to be little funny in a place like this.
Caedrix, you old so-and-so. I see you have one of my people working for you. Caedrix says, well, Mange is an excellent captain of the guard, yes. He formerly was one of Menuria's gladiators. Ah! So you managed to escape this popinjay then. Well done!
I'm only sorry I could not burn down whole palace.
Ah! You I like!
Ignatius is like, oh, so that's why nothing matches.
No, I suspect after he set fire to things, things did match for a while, and that probably annoyed Menuria to no end.
This very tacky man.
Sorry, I need to talk with your boss for a moment. I promise no harm will come.
Is good. I'm close by in case anyone is needing things.
Fair. Just, yeah, whatever. He just sort of, he escorts Caedrix off to the side one bit, and they sort of start whispering to each other. Every now and then you can hear his wheezing cackle. And this sort of nervous academic chuckle from Caedrix. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, yes. Well, it looks like Wings of Eagles is headed this way, and I probably should not ruffle her feathers any further than I already have. So.
He'll get a nod from Mange as he walks off.
He goes stumping off to go off towards he's gonna go talk to Taldrin. The two undead warriors have things to discuss. Wings of Eagle sort of wanders over, sort of leans on another one of the expensive statues in a sort of similar fashion to what Mange was. You could tell very quickly she has about the same attitude towards Menuria as Mange does. Caedrix, it is actually a genuine pleasure to see you. Unlike everyone else in this accursed group. I swear, if it wasn't actually beneficial to be a member of this group, I wouldn't. There are several here whose throats I'd tear out with my bare teeth.
It's good to be starting with Menuria, but he is maybe liking that briefly.
Oh no, he'd like that, and then it wouldn't kill him. He's irritatingly immortal. Immortal's not the right word. Unkillable.
We have not just dried out enough.
Oh. I swear that lad is immune to murder. At any rate, have any of you heard... She actually is addressing the entire group. Have any of you actually heard anything about what this meeting's about? Like, this is legitimately a sudden unexpected meeting.
We've not been provided any details to that end, no.
Because Menuria put this one together, and he never does that. He's up to something.
It's tough to tell. He is only up to something when breathing.
That's a fair point. I mean, up to something for more so than usual.
I'm keeping ears open and smelling. Well, not smelling much with all perfume, but you are understanding.
Don't I ever. God, these statues are horrible. Like, who...
Well, I get good sculptor, and you can get bad sculptor.
That's the worst part. Like, look at these details, she says, pointing to various things. Like, the person who made this has actual skill.
It's like cubism, but is missing point of cubism. And three-dimensional is stupid.
Ignatius is just like, truly, this must be the hell of artists.
All right. Is there anything? Basically, none of the other Dreadlords will swing by at some point to basically make pointless pleasantries.
Right.
None of them have anything useful to say. Jancis Elder literally walks over and says, "Ah, Caedrix, I greet you," and then walks away.
Ah, Caedrix, still not dead. Oh well.
Caedrix, you still seem to exist. That is unfortunate. Wanders off. Zurus actually walks over and says, "Caedrix, have you yet figured out how you've managed to achieve undeath in the form you have? I'm genuinely curious." Caedrix shrugs. No. Sort of irrelevant. Zurus is like, "You are a literal walking enigma of necromancy, and you don't have any curiosity of how it happened. Necromancy is not my field of study."
No, I took the minimum general ed prerequisite for that, and then got out of that shit.
Mange is trying very hard not to give a loud hyena belly laugh at this guy's annoyance.
You were literally like, Caedrix is in many ways the ultimate puzzle of necromancy, and has no interest in looking into it himself. It's just like,
there's so many more interesting things to research magically. Why bother with necromancy? It's a dead field.
Oh. That's worse than anything I've done this session.
You're welcome.
That's the whole point.
I've just assumed I'm basically some form of revenant, and it's enough to work with. But revenants are beings of revenge and destruction. You're a being of research. Ah! Ugh. Why do I talk to you? It gives me a headache every time. He sort of gestures and wanders off. Wings of Eagles, who has not left the statue she's leaning on, just sort of chuckles. If it was only possible for me to get under Menuria's skin the way you get under his, oh, I wish.
It's not hard to get under Nemeria's skin. It is getting him to show it. His problem. This, what we are doing, is annoying him.
Oh, I know. I just mean, I don't think we're irritating him to the level that Caedrix existing irritates him.
It's very funny, though, yes?
Well, yeah. Anything that irritates that necromancer is wonderful. All right, I should probably get back. I should probably make the rounds before. Protocol is protocol. It's good seeing you again, Caedrix. We should chat at some point. She waves to the rest of you and wanders off.
Steno contemplates addressing her as Lady Eagles, but thinks better of it in the moment. And it will instead simply use the full title when wishing her a good evening.
I mean, her name is Wings of Eagle. Her full title is Wings of Eagles, Ruler of the Pride. But
right, more to the point, she doesn't exactly have a surname.
Not exactly, no.
Yeah, so addressing her as that by that would be difficult.
So yeah, the various Dreadlords interacting sort of winds down, and Menuria sort of sits down at the head of the table, raps on it, and says, if everyone would be seated, I'd appreciate it.
Angel put his drink down on the statue.
As an aside, there are chairs for the Dreadlords, not for anybody else.
Yeah, Ignatius puts his drink like on a table, like just just like right next to the coasters. Like the coasters are there, and the drink's right next to the coasters.
Yeah. Jeshiel floats up to the chair assigned to him, looks at it, looks at Menuria, looks back at the chair,
Disintegrates the table.
disintegrates the chair, and floats to where the chair was. Menuria winces very briefly.
Steno, meanwhile, takes no insult to not having a chair.
I can just imagine like Jekyll floating over to the chair, looking down at it, and then just getting one of those like just nonplussed looks where like the entire face drips. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Vorp. So, I'm calling this meeting of the Dreadlords to order. Since I'm the one who called it, I'm the one who... Yeah, he's the one who called it, therefore he's the chairman for the meeting, I guess. Yes.
No one's stopping him, so he is.
Yeah, basically. No one really cares that much. So, Jen says, all right, Menuria. Why the hell have you called this meeting? We're not scheduled for one for another decade at least. The hell. I'm sure all of us had better things to do than be here, but, when a Dreadlord calls a meeting, we attend. I'd hoped to handle smaller business first, but I suppose I could. I suppose I will grant you the glory of the knowledge of why I called this meeting at the beginning. There are groans from most of the table. Yes, it is more of an announcement than anything else that I wish to make at the end. I wish to provide a meeting to discuss things and, the usual politics. It may be a little early, but I had an important announcement to make to all of you, and figured calling a meeting would be the best way to do it. But yes, unlike the rest of you clowns, I have, in fact... unlike the rest of you lesser beings, I have achieved my goals. My goals as Dreadlord. I have achieved apotheosis.
Mange is rolling his eyes and groaning slightly.
And I wanted you all here witness to my ascent. My former colleagues.
As he stands up on his tiptoes and slowly starts like trying to make it look like he's not standing up in his chair. See him rising. See?
Jexiel manages to actually snort. You're not sure how a lich does that. Apotheosis. You're no god, Menuria. You just have the arrogance of one. But you see... Yes, very well. Technically, I have not achieved it yet. I merely have the rituals in motion, and by the end of the conference, I will have achieved it. Jexiel's like, looks at it, has a look of just like, of just utter exasperation. It's like, baloney! That is... Apotheosis is not that simple. Like, seriously, the amount of energy that would require alone, like... I know you've been researching this for centuries, but, like, I'm the foremost authority on immortality here. Like, that alone is difficult, and you're going for godhood. Come on. Like...
So this was the Lich talking?
Yeah, this is the Lich.
Okay. Because you were saying Jekyll.
I'm sorry, Jancis. Yeah. That's my bad.
So I was like, wait a minute. So
yeah, honestly, Jexiel is actually, like, while this is going on, Jexiel is showing the most interest he's ever shown in in anybody at the moment. Like, actually, I will say this flatly, Diesel. Jexiel is actually showing, is like literally, you can tell is paying rapt attention to what's being said at the moment.
For the first time in forever, basically.
Like, he is genuinely, like, this is the first time he's been interested in, like, actually genuinely interested in what anybody else is saying that you've ever seen. Like, but yes, you merely studied, you have studied immortality, not apotheosis. They are different fields, Jancis. Only technically. And you're approaching it purely through necromancy, which is clearly not that. And as you are well aware, you can't achieve godhood purely through necromancy. There's at least one dude who would disagree with you on that point. But he didn't achieve it purely through necromancy, did he? Not technically. Whatever. So you're going to show us his apotheosis by the end of the conference? Of course. You are to bear witness to my glory. You are the only beings on the planet worthy of such.
Ignatius is just sitting there thinking, isn't this more of a theological debate than a scientific one?
All Mage is hearing is that there are targets to be taken out that will annoy his former boss. Someone's conducting a ritual.
But yeah, that is roughly where I wanted to end this session. Is with his announcement that he's going to attempt to achieve godhood by the end of the conference. Caedrix is sort of has a look on his face of, huh. Like, everyone else is like, virtually everybody at the table is like, looks like either like, oh god, this guy has it looks of either he's insane, he's stupid, oh god, the arrogant bastard is just mouthing off again. This is another one of his stunts. The only two who seem to be taking him at all seriously are Jexial and Caedrix. Both of them have looked like Jexial is like actually has that look like the first time he's been interested in anything in forever, and Caedrix had the look of in his face of what is he up to? ... But that is roughly where I want to end things tonight, unless there's things you guys want to handle after. Basically, that's rough. Like, there's basically bureaucratic stuff that happens after that, but nothing of note. Is there anything you guys want to do before I wrap up? Now is a good time.
Okay.
That might be spurred on by what happened at the meeting.
Okay. Well, so,
or
was that basically just the point of the meeting? Is there anything that is going to
basically
happen?
It was mostly the first meeting is supposed to be originally planned. It's like, yeah, basically negotiations between the Dreadlords for various things and such, getting caught up on what each of them are up to, because they do keep tabs on that, and they nominally don't want to interfere with the official sort of. Officially, they sort of have a treaty of we don't fuck with each other's plans thing. So knowing what each other are up to is useful for not accidentally screwing up someone else's plans. And some of them do trade with each other or do things help each other out occasionally, because while they don't like each other, if they're in different enough fields, like, yeah, I can be helpful to you if you in return are helpful to me. Sure, why not?
It's always most fun when the bad guys team up.
Or at least cooperate.
But but yeah, the big announcement was not something Menuria was planning on making at this meeting, but was willing to do so.
I mean, I was going to save it for the actual apotheosis, but I just can't help.
Oh, I can't stop for myself. Oh, you fuck all you just.
You drug it out of me. Oh no. damn, I have to be, dramatic and, ostentatious and make a pronouncement to everybody. Damn, I didn't want to do that, really.
Does anyone want to do anything at the actual meeting itself?
That's up to you guys.
Because I have something I want to do afterwards. So
Mange is very much being on his best behavior and is saying hi to any other minions that he knows while doing his job of keeping Caedrix within arm's reach. But other than that, he's just, he's being a guard and not killing people that he wants to kill, which is hard for him.
Ignatius is probably going to be pulled into a side meeting regarding the various trade options going on.
Okay.
So that takes place right after this. After that, though, he's definitely going to be interacting with the various undead minions and showing his guild self to see if anybody's actually got anything they want to talking about. Because the guild comes first. Your boss is your boss, but the union's forever.
All right.
It's like, oh no, my immortal boss is dead. Where will I go? We got you covered, brother.
All right. Sounds like we can move to post meeting unless anybody's got something.
I'm good.
Okay. Post meeting.
Yes.
So when we get back to, I guess, the section of the palace that we're staying in, once we're basically through the door, Diesel's going to pick up the nearest table he's got in arm's reach, and he's just going to chuck it at the opposite wall, and is just going to start breaking things.
Looking to score points with Mange.
Mange is actually looking concerned, but letting him work it out of his system. He's going to wait till he calms down and then approach.
That might take a while.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we destroy some of Menuria's decor. Oh no. But that's not that's a side benefit to your temper tantrum, but he's actually worried about you.
Caedrix actually will look on. Wait, we'll let it go. Let this go on for a couple of minutes and say, Diesel.
When Caedrix addresses him, Diesel snaps to attention, and he's breathing haggardly, and his eyes are bloodshot.
Something has upset you. Am I correct?
Yes.
Maybe we are talking it over, huh? You are breaking most of drinks, but we are still talking.
Would you be willing to divulge what is upsetting you, Diesel?
I trust this is in relation to what you were told earlier and what you interpreted from it.
It's okay. You were with friends. He puts an arm around you.
Jack shall say that Diesel not broken.
Well, we are knowing that. Diesel is good.
No! If Diesel not broken, Diesel not have to leave.
Are you wanting to go back?
If Diesel broken, Diesel cannot serve purpose. But Diesel could still serve purpose. Diesel sent away anyway.
Caedrix sort of, crosses his arms and says, in what way were you broken, Diesel?
Doomborn have limited lifespan. Meant to die in battle. Not matter if live to ripe old age, become wise. By age of 6 months, Doomborn ready for combat training. By age of 1 year, Doomborn ready for field combat. By age of 5 years, Doomborn not live to 5 years, but Diesel live.
I see.
Doomborn have defects, part of genetic manipulation. Enhanced strength, enhanced speed, adrenal gland, overdrive. Have many unpredicted side effects. Not matter, effective combat soldiers serve purpose. Die. Sometimes die from unforeseen defects. With each combat, defects grow in number. Eventually cause breakdown. Cause Doomborn to be too dangerous to be employed in battle, more likely to kill allies than to kill enemy. Diesel decommissioned.
Right. And Jexiel said that he was surprised. It implied that he was surprised you still were functional because it's been a year past the date, correct?
Yes.
Well,
Now, I'm no expert in the field of any such, but that sounds less of an expectation of an advancement of any sort, or any comment on your being broken or otherwise, and sounds more like you gave Jack Shaw food for thought in the terms of, perhaps I can have longer living soldiers.
More important, you are finding cause for yourself. You are choosing what you are being now. You are not needing to serve him. You are not being made to just be what he is making you. You are Diesel. You are self. You are you. Is good. Is very good. You are coming to Caedrix and Tower of Ivory and learning this.
While Mage is talking, Diesel is going to slowly unfasten his chest plate from his armor and is going to remove it and bare his torso. And he's got markings on his chest. And they read the letters D, S, gamma symbol, which is an upside down L, 0410. And he's going to point at his chest.
Is not number you are telling big stupid eye.
No, it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
He said lambda, not the.
It was a mistake. Yeah. It was the letter that goes into the name as opposed to the actual symbol that fits into the name.
Okay.
This is what Diesel is. Was born to be. Jakshal say cannot fulfill this purpose anymore. Then Jakshal say nothing wrong with Diesel. Diesel could still serve this purpose. So why?
Well,
He is stupid and is not knowing.
I would not say Jexgel is stupid, but he is also not omnipotent. Or omniscient. He knows many things, and he is the foremost expert on creating things like you. But he is not all-knowing. In this, it's very simple. He's wrong. Naturally, you have value, even if you were potentially... Even if you are potentially a threat to... Even if there's potential that you might break down catastrophically at the wrong time, that does not mean you do not have value, Diesel. It does not mean you do not have purpose. It just means you have a different one now. If you choose to try to find your purpose elsewhere, I will respect that. But you have a place here should you choose it. Remember that. And if you want me to help you find out what it is that is different about you that you have not broken down yet, I would be glad to help to assist.
That sounded like it was going to be very heartwarming, but then your internet started to cut out.
Oh, God damn it.
All the swears keep coming out as robot noises.
Womp, 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 womp.
I've been in exactly this position before, so...
Right, so for those of you, I don't know if you can hear me, my internet is doing the thing again. OBS is dropped. For those of you listening to the recording, it is dropping out. I'm going to soldier through this. The internet's going to drop out entirely shortly, my guess. Yep, there went the connection to D20, roll 20. I'm assuming nobody in Discord can hear me. That is correct. So those listening to the recording, it's going to be another minute or so before it comes back. We're near the end of the session, as an aside, if you haven't noticed. Yeah. Damn it, I'm really upset that it decided to drop during that. Hopefully it will bounce back shortly. Please come back, internet. Please come back, internet. Please come back, internet. Why? Stupid internet. So I apologize to those listening again. The recording here, it's unfortunate. There's not much I can do about it, as I said before, so, you know. Alright, OBS is back. Discord is back.
Hooray!
I'm sorry, Peter. That was such bad timing.
God,
really was.
so frustrating! Where did I cut out?
You were cutting out right when he was offering to see if there was something he could do.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, basically he's yeah. Yeah, so the long and short is yeah, if you so choose, you know, you always have a place here. If you so choose, and there's something I can do to help to find out what is different about you that is means that you are the way you are. And if there's things you want me to do to help, I am more than happy to do that. But you have a place here no matter what.
Diesel doesn't actually really seem to react to much of what Caedrix says until he starts on the second part.
Yep.
Actually, it's right before the second part,
okay,
where he says, "You always have a place here if you want." And when he's done, Diesel will say, "Why Caedrix care what Diesel wants?"
I care what I care what everyone. I care what everyone who works for me want. I don't have a particular reason. It's just I care.
As do
geez.
I.
It's because
One
I
does
choose
not-
to care.
One does not need a reason to respect or care for another.
Not everyone is knowing purpose. Not everyone is needing purpose. But you are here, and we are your friends. We are wanting you to be here. We are hoping you are wanting to stay. But if you're wanting to go is sad, but you are allowed. But you will always be Mange's friend. This, and he points at the number on your chest, is your name, is what you were. But now you can be more, you can be better. It's good.
Diesel will ponder this. Sorry for breaking.
It's Menuria's stuff. Who cares?
Oh, okay.
If you are wanting to break more, Mange will be helping you.
Diesel not feel like break anymore. For now.
Good. Are you be wanting time off? Are you okay to still be guard, or do you want to think and rest some? It's okay if you're needing to think and rest.
Diesel need time. Quiet time.
We are giving it to you.
And Diesel's going to kind of like slowly slouch off and go lie down somewhere.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else they want to do?
Not especially.
Mange is clearly concerned, but he's got duties to take care of, so he's going to swap out Diesel's place in the honor guard with one of the guys whose job it is to watch the room.
I guess I'm just observing.
Okay. Is there anything, Gav? If there's anything you want to be working on or anything like that, let me know.
Not specifically at this moment in time.
Okay.
Ignatius is probably still at the meetings. She missed that entire heart to heart. So
Hello,
sad.
everyone, and welcome to the post-meeting meeting. It's the best of all meetings, save, of course, for the post-meeting meeting.
Oh, lordy. All right.
Yes, we have a wet bar there.
Yep.
Get drinking.
So I think this is a good break point then. So that's going to do it for this session, folks. So those of you listening to the recordings, if you're listening on YouTube, thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with
We have one last thing to do, actually. We need the roll for Austin Buff.
I was getting to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. What was that, Gav?
I can't remember the movie that I'm referencing. Oh, Robin Hood. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Wait for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, don't worry about it. I was going through one spiel before I got to that. So yeah. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with the internet drops in there. The recording should have held up through the whole thing, so you got to hear me try to vamp badly. Thanks for putting up with that.
I'm learning a whole lot of new curse words.
Oh, I actually managed to. I did not. I was good this time.
Shit, I don't think I fucking cursed once. No, I fixed it.
But yes, if you listen to it, if you enjoyed it, please throw a, if you like it, throw a like on YouTube, comment, subscribe. Those are all good things. They help out the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. The recording is also going up onto Podbean. Podbean, yes. mechagm.podbean.com. So if you want to download it in MP3 format, that's where you can do that. And we record the show on Wednesdays. Yes, that's the day of the week. Starting at around about 2:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/MechaGM. So if you want to see us live, hopefully the internet will be less unstable next time. That would be great. That'd be wonderful.
That'd be lovely.
Instead of having losing internet twice during one recording. God damn it.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for session. That's gonna do it for the session. Other than one thing.
One thing.
One more thing. Ash, would you give us the Die of Destiny for this week?
I actually think Nick should do it this week for that amazing thing with
Sure.
Diesel.
Nick, give us the Die
Yeah.
of Destiny. Roll us a d6.
All right, we just do a roll 1-6, correct?
Run d6. Yep.
All right, roll low. That's not low.
That's a
the
6.
opposite of
So
low.
that's the opposite.
We're not opting up ever again with that one.
Fortunately, that's not how that works. But that's going to do it for this time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed the game, those of you played. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.